Officer, you don't understand. I'm too white to have that saved on my hard drive.
This is a warning to all living mortals, that who shall ever open this chest of demons will release 13 of the most terrifying ghosts upon the face of the earth. Okay, cut it. This isn't going to work. Let's try some nostalgia bait.
It's smiling strange. You looking happily rain. I can't settle in bed. Or have you picked your target yet? It's ending. Got your dog bite.
That man stole Cindy's dog.
My hard drive is completely safe. You have nothing on it.
Got your dog bite.
If you have seen Cindy's dog, please let your local authorities know.
There's no bye. Hey, Sandy. Yeah.
Okay, that was better. But let's try something a bit more cinematic.
Hey, where my broken arrows at? They try to tell us we can't fly. Like we too broken or something. I mean, I'd rather let them know. Hold up. My squad about to roll up. Hold up. My squad about to roll up. Get them balls up. Get them balls up. Get them balls up. Get them balls up. Hold up. My squad about to roll up. Hold up. My squad about to roll up. All the way up. Get them balls 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 all the way up. Broken arrows get bows up. Sometimes I pray with my nose up. Thinking about when the world crumbles and my whole squad just goes up. Ain't gotta worry, we straight like an arrow, yeah. Ain't gotta worry about faith, nope. I'm on that straight and the narrow, yeah. I just go straight like an arrow, yeah.
Yeah, that's the shit I like. Let's start the Barroom podcast. Take it away, Jacob.
This is going to be a rough night because I can already see my connection's a little wonky here. So great job. As you guys were here last week, I had a StreamYard issue where my stream started and like 10 seconds later just ended. And then I had to like restart the whole thing like all over again. Then I can see the connection here is running a bear as well. So the whole thing's been a bit of a cluster. Plus I'm in the middle of a move because you can see here there's nothing on my wall here and there won't be anything here for at least the next 2 weeks. So
He's in the void.
Literally in the in-between place right now. So I hope you guys can hear me. I'm sounding pretty okay because like I said, the video for whatever reason is lagging, but I can hear everybody else fine. So in case my audio or whatever reason just starts taking a shit during the stream, just let me know and I'll get it snapped up. But we are here tonight for episode 153 of the Barroom Podcast, and I got a lovely group of people joining me here tonight. We got Rob Model joining us here today. How you doing, Bob?
Well, World War III is probably starting or has started, so there's that. I'm seeing 28 years later later this week, which I'm looking forward to because there's not a whole lot out there right now, and the world just seems like it's taking a big shit, and I'm gonna continue not to ignore it because that's what I do best.
Well, you can only ignore it for some time, so we'll see how long that holds out. Also, our good buddy Eddie Brock's here. How you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing great. I hope everyone can hear me. I'm like, this thing, I might like clonk out every once in a while. This thing likes to reset my audio things or what have you.
Yeah, it's not great, but we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing great. Opposite of Rob, I'm kind of looking forward to Nuclear Summer. It's pretty sweet. It's going to be like a trauma movie. And yeah, I can't wait to have Toxic Avenger to come out. Like,
hey, nobody's going to have a white boy summer if that happens.
No, they're all big.
We all
big as summer.
White Boy Summer is canceled.
Yeah.
And that's
Beach
sad
Boy
news.
Skeleton, maybe.
And that's bad news for freshly saved Cider. How you doing tonight?
Freshly saved.
Yeah, you got the whole baby face thing going
Oh,
right
oh,
now.
oh! I thought you were like, okay. So I heard saved, like I was just freshly baptized somewhere or something. I
No,
was
no,
like,
no.
You were freshly downloaded.
Yeah, I got in a fight with a lawnmower and lost.
Sure, let's go with that. We are here on all three platforms, YouTube, Rumble, and X here tonight. So go ahead and introduce everyone joining us. We have Leslie Tarkin joining us here earlier on the show. Vanya is joining us as well. I think Leslie was making a reference to my AC apparel from last week's show. So just real quick sidebar. My AC crapped out Sunday night. And essentially for the last 48 hours, I have been here with no AC whatsoever. Last night at about 10 o'clock at night, I looked at the thermometer in my apartment. It was literally 87 degrees. And when I went in to move stuff out of my apartment yesterday, as I walked into, it literally felt like I was walking in the knife circle of hell. It was actually cooler outside on a hot Georgia day than it was inside my apartment. I don't know if you ever tried sleeping in a hot, sticky, humid apartment. It's not fun. Even if you have a wind machine fan blowing right in front of your face, it's still not fun. So yeah, that was a whole issue that we had to deal with over the last couple of days. I don't recommend it. I know, it kind of sucks. I don't honestly.
Those are also Power Station lyrics. Some Like It Hot from like 1980 something.
Maybe she was talking about that too. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
Lisa Dawn joining us here on tonight's show. Kirk over here is joining us as well. Neozoic joining us on tonight's show. Doba Fett. For some reason kept scrolling around like your comments for some weird reason. Cindy's dog, it was seen in a Chinese restaurant. Yeah, so Cider is literally gaslit everyone into believing that the song is saying Cindy and not Sandy, but it's clearly saying Sandy, but now everyone thinks it says Cindy. So way to go, guys.
You're welcome.
Spencer's also joining us here too today. Yeah, Cider looks years younger. You almost look like a babyface assassin.
Huh?
That's actually a
What is
pretty
that
good.
even? What is
That's
that?
pretty cool, actually.
Is that a
Like,
John Wick special type?
Lee Harvey Oswald. I don't know because he looked like a preview best employee. I don't know. Fuck.
Babyface Malloy.
You know what's funny? Eddie's the only one who got that reference. It's gonna be hilarious if we just go like the whole 2 hours and Eddie's the only person that understands any of the references we talk about on tonight's show.
That would be very strange.
Great.
Well, it's
Well, I guess I'm never shaving again. Gee.
There's one thing that I want to address here. And I don't want to get too big into this. Like I said, this is like a whole hour conversation. We might even do like a separate episode.
I just shaved, Jake. That's all I did. You don't need to take an hour and talk about it. God, I'll shut the camera
It might be 2 hours if you keep talking.
God damn it.
Well, no, okay, you guys know what The Walking Dead is, right? You guys have heard of the show. It was popular once upon a time.
Yeah, once.
It was like 10 years ago. It's amazing to tell people because we are kind of in that age where, you know, it's almost been long enough where people don't remember just how big of a cultural phenomenon this show was, because it's been like 15 years since the show was at its height, and it was the biggest thing in the world for a while, up there with like Game of Thrones. And arguably, I think you can make a solid, estimation that this show has had the biggest fall off in the history of any television show in history. To rewind a little bit, the episode that Negan appeared, I think it was the premiere of the Negan episode, they had about 17 million people tune into that episode. I think it's one of the highest rated shows like ever at that point. By the time we got to, let's say, a couple of years ago where things were winding down, they were literally at like 1.5 million viewers. The finale, which wasn't really a finale, only got 2 million viewers. So literally you had 15 million people who completely said, F this, I'm done, and didn't even bother to go back and see like what the last episode was. And now you think the show is over because they ended the season like 2 years ago. It's not. They now have 3 consecutive spinoffs going on simultaneously. Like Rick has his own show. Maggie and Negan are in New York for some weird reason, and then Daryl's in France. I don't know why he's in France.
They took a look at Norman Reedus and they were like, "Yep, That guy.
It's like, how did he get to France in a zombie apocalypse? There's no plane. There's no
boat. That's like a number. Like, what happens? You get a guy in the boat, and he's like, he's been bit, and he doesn't tell anybody. Well,
Keep
guess
in
what?
mind, this isn't fresh into the zombie apocalypse. It's been going on at this point for like 15 years, and he just somehow made it from the south of America to France. And how did that happen?
Okay, seriously though, this show premiered when I turned 19 years old. I am 36. This came out when I was 19, and guess what? It was like worth watching, and like, oh hey, like the new season of The Walking Dead's on Netflix. Cool, let's check it out. After season 4, after the governor and the prison, like, and that was a pretty good season, but I was just like, oh, okay, they're just gonna keep doing this over and over and over again, and that's when I bailed. And so I'm so glad I saw it early enough to be like, I can't keep doing this.
And that's what it is. Walking Dead is like, what if human bad? And that's The Walking Dead. That's
what if human bad and we give you no hope whatsoever? You just watch endless zombie adventures for 20 years.
Yeah, that's Robert Kirkman's writing.
I actually like some of that. I do, but if that's all it is, if that it's just that thing over and over and over again, and you're beating the audiences, it's not. There's not enough. There's no pivot point.
Because
nothing else to go to deviate from. And so, like, even if you like that thing, it was done so stupidly and so poorly that it's like, okay, you're just trying to produce this thing for an audience and just get as much as you can out of it, and okay, whatever.
Well, not only that, and the biggest flaw with the whole series, and you can, like I said, blame Kirkman and all the showrunners who have been involved with it ever since then, is that clearly there's never going to be a genuine end to The Walking Dead. And I don't even say this flippantly. We mentioned this here at the very beginning of the show. The end of the world could very well happen before The Walking Dead actually officially ends. That's kind of where we're at right now. And when you have a show that's been going on for that long, that has no end, that has no hope, that has no conclusion, why would anyone just commit to continue to be invested in it up to this point? Because it's like, with stories like this, there has to be some kind of conclusion. Even if it's not, a happy one, something has to happen, right? So it's like, okay, are we going to eventually find a cure? Is someone going to have like an antibody or something like that? And it gives people hope for the future. Is there going to be like at least a community out there where they can live in peace, at least for the rest of their days, something like that? Is it just everyone screwed? Hell, everyone screwed is still an ending, but they're not even giving you that. They're just like, nope, 20 years in the future, and yeah, we're still like stabbing zombies in the head, and it's just like, guys, no one wants to see that forever and ever.
Well, I mean, it's the horror version. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Eddie.
It's like the horror version of All My Children or General Hospital. They're gonna just drag this thing on as long as they want. They know there's a set niche market there in the horror fan, and they're always gonna reproduce more and more zombie fans. So I'm just amazed they haven't brought as much amnesia. Maybe that's how Daryl got to France. He has amnesia. Just found himself there.
Well, it's just one of those things with this series, right? So when you adopt a apocalypse, geez, I didn't mean to turn Super Saiyan. When you adopt an apocalypse story, the end of the world has to kind of end. Humans eventually put shit back together. It was what happened with Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead showed them putting the zombies to work mowing the lawn. They were out back like having beers, watching the zombie mow the lawn for them. That's everybody just kind of got along. And so that's the takeaway from like what The Walking Dead's mistake is that even the stupid The Last of Us guys got their act together and started securing areas to keep zombies out of, get their act together, put a government back together. This is 15 years in, and humans are still like, we don't know what to do. It's not possible. Some force would have taken over whole regions by now, stabilized it, and taken over the country. It would have been an entirely new government, whatever. But there would not be just random Rick and his friends fucking up regions of the country because they built motorcycles that one time. That was the only thing I liked about the show after season 4, like what you were talking about, Rob, was Daryl's Frankenbike. That was the coolest thing that show had ever come up with, was that Frankenbike. Very cool.
But yeah, like I said, we can go on this like for hours. But like the downfall of The Walking Dead has just been astounding to watch. And like I said, it's still not over. I think what someone said was that there was a lawsuit that was settled like a year or two before the show ended, where basically it was like, well, now AMC or whoever has kind of like the rights to it has to split the rights with The Walking Dead or Fear of the Walking Dead as long as it's on the air. They canceled both of those shows literally the very next year, and then went on to like 3 different spinoffs. And like I said, the spinoffs are not popular. Like compared to, like I said, where they were, where like 17 million people were watching every single week. The Michonne and Rick show probably gets about 700,000 a week. That's their highest rated one. The Daryl show is probably doing about 500, 600,000. And then the Maggie Negan show, which I don't know why they put those two together, but that show is doing like 200,000 viewers a week. And it's like, it's almost like they are the only ones who just can't accept that it's over, and it's been over for a while.
Yeah, and I'll just say this real quick. My biggest criticism with television in general is that it is created to go on, meaning it's not like a movie where you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And that movie is alive from the time it starts to the time it ends. Television creates reasons to continue, creates reasons to have another season and another season and another season. And I know that movies are guilty of this, especially with sequels or remakes, certainly. But TV, it's in its inception, what it is, how it's defined, it wants to continue, it wants to go on. It doesn't want to have an ending. And so as long as it can have a certain amount of viewers, it will continue to do that. And The Walking Dead really fits that to a T. It premiered on AMC, it stayed on AMC. There are 2 other premiere shows that people respect a lot more, Mad Men and Breaking Bad. And they came and they went. They each had a set number of seasons, and then they were gone. And they're still watched and still remembered and still streamed. The Walking Dead still has fans, but it's like, I think people have pretty much, they pretty much just got sick of it towards the end.
I think there's a good way to look at this, because somebody I brought it up to, I can't remember his name, but he said it like this: when it comes to television shows, you have essentially 2 types of writers. You have an architect and you have a gardener, right? And here's the concept. An architect, when he starts a television show, he knows exactly how it's going to end from the very beginning, which means that he's laid out the entire arc of middle, beginning, and end before the show's even started. So he's just basically taking you on the ride to get to step A, to step B, to step C, before you end up in step D, and then that's the end of it, right? And then you have a gardener who's like, well, yeah, let's figure out a way to start this thing, but then we'll just kind of let it play out as it goes on. So his job is more to kind of take care of the status of the show or the project or wherever it is, up until they just get to a point where they have to figure out like what they're going to do next. So it's like, and like I said, yeah, all those shows you mentioned, other shows we can talk about here, shows like The Wire. These are shows that I don't even think had like maybe like 60 episodes in total. I know Breaking Bad was like one of them, but essentially it was like, hey, look, we got a story. We know where we're going with this. We don't need to drag it out for 159 different episodes. It's like, get in, get out, and then just be called one of the greatest television shows of all time. Shows like this. Yeah, and even like from the syndication perspective of it, it's like it used to be if your show hit 100 episodes, it was guaranteed syndication. There was a money-making incentive around that. That parallel has kind of changed, or that parameter has changed over the last several years, because now it's not required for you to do 100 episodes. If you're an hour-long show, you may only have to do about half of that to get syndication rights and things of that nature. So that has changed a lot, but it just feels like that. What happened with The Walking Dead, it became such a cash cow, such a money maker. They were like, we can't end this even if we wanted to, because look at all the money that we're making. I cannot believe that in 2025, The Walking Dead is making nearly the money that they were making in 2015. So I don't know what the motivation is to continue this project at this point. It just seems like they're just dragging their ass at this point.
Well, take a look at this, right? The Boys. The Boys is a really like next example of this, and of course Eric Kripke's other wonderful pet project, the Supernatural series. They all suffer from this. We got to keep it going because people are interested. Itis, and that is chiefly what kills everything. So you look at, like you're talking about with Breaking Bad, that came in, it had something to say, and it left.
Yeah.
So speaking of leaving, probably ought to get rid of CM Punk. Starting to stink.
Well, we're going to start with this portion of the story, then we'll lead up to CM Punk. So I think that this is kind of a bigger perspective of what's happening here. So,
Darn,
like I
it was
said,
such a good through thread of
Segue.
things we fucking we're tired of. Get
Yeah.
the fuck out of here. You've overstayed your welcome. Damn.
maybe like no, clear with the host first, and then we can like.
Sorry,
lead you in.
I took a jump. I took a jump. I'm sorry. I
We'll
shaved.
get-
Okay, I'm brazen. All right, I shaved.
Well, we will get to CM Punk, but let's start with the first part of this story because this is going to lead us in very much to where we are there. This is actually a follow-up to a story we talked about a month or two ago with Miss Rachel. And if you guys don't recall what we talked about then, there was criticism of Miss Rachel about a couple of months ago because she started going all in, just like every other left-wing idiot in Hollywood has been doing right now, all in on free Palestine, support the children of Palestine, all that good stuff. It got to a point where even members of Congress were essentially trying to defund her because I guess she gets some kind of government grant. If you don't know who Miss Rachel is, she's one of these early development content creators where she makes content for children. So she's the person that is like, oh, we'll just put on a Miss Rachel video and she'll teach kids about colors and ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. And as a result of this, she has nearly 16 million subscribers on YouTube, and her videos do upwards of like 100 million views. Because like I said, people just put their children in front of her and be like, okay, here, you teach her because I can't. I need to go get a drink or go to sleep or something
Worst
like
of
that.
all, Jacob,
Mm-hmm.
she's in Maine.
Oh yeah, she's one of your neighbors. I don't know if she's proper from Maine, but yeah, she's one of your people. So go up with that one. But the context of the conversation we had last month, I should say, is that they were calling for her to be defunded because she was quote unquote pushing Hamas propaganda. And what I kind of stated then is that, hey, look, maybe she is, maybe she isn't. The bigger picture here is stop letting television raise your kids, because she also got heat back in 2024 for promoting essentially Pride Month on a children's show, and people were very angry about that. That was just last year. So now here we are this year, and now she's all in on Palestine and Hamas and all that old nonsense. So unfortunately, the situation has kind of escalated over the course of the last month or two, because now Miss Rachel has become the face of the anti-Israel movement in a very cult-like manner over the course of the last several weeks. So at the time when this is going on, her narrative was basically this. It's like, oh, I'm not anti-Israel, I'm not anti-Jew. I just care so much about the children in Gaza who are being murdered every single day. And essentially leading people to the conclusion that, yeah, Israel is murdering children every single day. Nothing but children, just kids dying all the time. And as a result of this, she's become basically a super, super outspoken advocate, to where she stopped doing her Miss Rachel videos. I don't know how many videos she's come out with over the course of the last few months. She had a video that came out about 2 weeks ago, but since basically the start of 2025, that's the only thing that she's produced. She's now just known as being the face for, I guess, the pro-Palestine, anti-Israel movement here in more ways than one. This is going to get kind of crazy here, but as we go on. This is from Vulture, so you got to understand that these are the people who wrote this. I think this is a guy who wrote this. I would have swore it was a woman. But Miss Rachel, who is apparently the Beyonce for 1-year-olds, so let's stop right there in that very first sub-headline. I'm pretty sure 1-year-olds don't really care about Miss Rachel. It's the parents who are essentially trying to find somebody else to raise their children who put Miss Rachel in front of them. They go, oh yeah, learn from her, guys. And now they figure out that's probably not a good idea. But Rachel Accurso, is that her name?
Curso is probably the way you say it. Yeah, Curso.
Yeah. Has been posting videos nonstop over the last several months in support of her Palestine movement. She's now going on other people's shows and basically talking about her advocacy of the children of Gaza. This has kind of been a big thing over the last several months. She's brought apparently children who have survived the horrific attacks from Israel onto her show, onto her platforms to talk about, their horrific events that have happened in the Gaza over the course of the last several months. We'll get to this here in a second, but she's raising a whole bunch of money for Gaza-related causes at the moment. People have accused her of supporting Hamas propaganda. She has had a couple of people who, let's just say, aren't so friendly to the nation of Israel on her platform, and she's also gone on theirs as well. But it seems to be a cult-like following where now it's no longer about the children's content. It's really just about her advocacy of the Gaza. And as you can see here, this is her Instagram page. Let's pop over here for a second. Basically everything on her Instagram page is like her talking about Gaza at this point. Everything is about Gaza and Palestine. Like you can see her pinned up videos here are all talking about this here. This is the child from the Gaza that the Vulture interview was talking about there. I think there's another video with her. Notice we'll get to that here. We'll unpack this here, but yeah, all of her videos here for like the last several months is literally about her crying about the children in Gaza, right? And showing videos of kids who are in hospitals because Israel bombed them. We're unpacking this. I'm just letting you guys know this here. And then it got kind of weird because of all people, John Mulaney came out not too long ago and he basically slammed the, I guess, supporters of Miss Rachel because Olivia Munn did an interview, I think, right around this time where she basically said that she kind of finds Miss Rachel videos annoying. Now, in the context, she was obviously talking about the children's videos of Miss Rachel. However, they assumed that she was talking about her Palestine support. So now Olivia Munn is getting death threats because she publicly criticized the content of Miss Rachel's videos because they're just assuming that she was talking about her supporting Palestine rather than the actual. Yeah, exactly, right? So John Mulvaney, who, like
this
I
really
said,
proves the point, guys, that you're not violent and you want peace and you want everybody to stop hurting people in the name of things that don't make sense to hurt people over. It really helps the case, guys.
By the way, these are left-wing people. Olivia Munn and John are lefties, so it's like you're not even going after those evil Trumpers.
But it's like internalize and assume the worst, meaning like I'm gonna take what you said and I'm gonna twist it. And so what people do on Twitter all day, you know, I'm gonna take what you said, I'm going to twist it so badly that I'm going to, you know, I'm gonna take the worst possible thing you could mean by this, and it's like okay. God, I want to use a word I can't right now. You would have to be so unbelievably disconnected from intellect, okay, to assume that or to read into that I don't know. You don't belong in polite society. You just please get out because you sound so stupid. It's like, and Olivia Munn is an idiot. I mean, we talked about her before with the Predator movie, but like, come on, dude. Like, she's just basically she's making a innocuous comment because, by the way, she has a child. So, you know, just throwing that out there.
So I want to play essentially what Olivia Munn said, which got so many people upset. She said this. She says, I know kids love Miss Rachel, but the thing is, if I can't watch it, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life going crazy. Love said, these children's shows are driving me crazy. She went on to say that, you know, Malcolm from Blue's Clues, I don't know who showed him Blue's Clues, but they are on my shit list now. And hell no, not in my house, right? So she was making a comment in the context of children's shows, and because Miss Rachel is supposedly supposed to be one of the biggest content creators for children-related content. She basically used her as an example, but because Miss Rachel now is this Palestinian, you know, warrior, whatever it is, on social media now, everyone just assumed she was talking about her Palestine conflict. So John had to then go on his Instagram account to say that no, she was not talking about the Gaza. This is what he said in an interview. An innocent comment my wife Olivia Munn made about children's programs was we like somehow unbelievably has been conflated with us not caring about the death of children in the Gaza. She says, because of this, my wife and my 2 kids are now receiving violent and threatening comments in her messages, in her DMs. This is absolutely insane and needs to stop. People are doing this are so wildly out of line and so unhelpful to any conversation. You took a nothing comment to a dark and dangerous place. This isn't the kind of behavior, said this kind of behavior isn't activism, he proclaimed. And obviously I read you the comment that caused this whole thing in the first place, but that's not falling on deaf ears. And here's another photo here, and yes, this is WWE champion Becky Lynch coming to an episode of Raw wearing a Miss Rachel t-shirt, because now, like I said, now Miss Rachel has now been the face of Palestinian support. So if you're for Palestine, now you're rocking Miss Rachel t-shirts. Sami Zayn also commented on this photo too, saying real recognizes real. By the way, Sami Zayn is a Canadian quote-unquote Syrian who hates Israel, so of course now everyone's all on the Miss Rachel train for things that have nothing to do do with children content whatsoever. So yes, this is in fact a cult that is growing very, very rapidly right now. And it seems like everyone is on the train. And like I said, you see how kind of wild and crazy this all got in the course of like a month, because last month it was like, well, is Miss Rachel promoting Hamas propaganda? Who knows? And now literally people are calling for the deaths of people who don't support Miss Rachel, and now people are buying Miss Rachel merchandise as essentially a byproduct of their hatred of Israel and their support of Palestine. You wonder how things got like this so crazy. This is the world that we're in. So I think Eddie might have stepped out for a second. Cider, we'll just start this one with you. What is your take on this whole situation with Miss Rachel? I'm not sure if you were here for our original conversation, if you remember where we started here, but yeah, this whole thing is kind of gone completely off the rails now.
Yeah, no, so if you don't know, Maine, not really a big place for recruiting political superstars. If you don't know, not really a place where they go to find the next Greta Thunberg, but apparently they did. And so, and she's in her mid-30s and wears overalls. But anyway, coveralls, whatever they are. And so the situation is with Miss Rachel that perplexes me is why then do you make Mr. Rogers, the Mr. Rogers of this generation, the symbol of the anti-Vietnam War, for instance, right? What do you do? What's the situation here? Because I zoned out for a minute when you said the Gaza. My brain just switched over to like the golden oldies, and I started hearing Elvis in my head singing the Gaza. You remember when he was singing the Ghetto? Remember that? Yeah, so he was describing life in Gaza.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it a little later. Hold on.
Yeah, you're gonna do it. Yeah, okay. You're gonna karaoke that? All right.
yeah, I'll do it in a bit. Hold on.
Okay. And so the situation that right now?
No, go ahead, please. All right.
Oh, okay. So the situation that came to my mind while I was having that hallucination was Miss Rachel is most likely a plant that from the start, this has always been the trajectory that she has been on. Because if you think about this, just think about the logic of this. You have a WWE star that is using the Mr. Rogers of the Alpha generation, or whatever we're calling the youngest of them now. It's using that as a symbol to protest a religious war that has been going on for over 2,000 years.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, Becky Lynch is from Ireland, so she has no context whatsoever of either Israel or Gaza, as I mentioned.
Right. And Miss Rachel most likely has even less. She looks to be French. Like most of the French ladies I know up here look like that. So
I honestly assumed she was Italian. So I mean,
that's true. They're not far apart, you know. So, but the thing is that again, it's all circling that this lady was clearly put here because what are you going to do? Think about this when you're trying to protest this. You wearing that shirt of that innocent character is a symbol of you hating Jewish people. Try to do that with a straight face. The Pikachu shirt you're wearing means you want to gas the Jews.
Literally.
No, try that. And that's the gamble. They have made this absolutely innocent woman into the magnate for this that allows them to go out and extend the conversation to a point where you can't defend Israel anymore because Mr. Rogers is critiquing them.
It's literally the statement that Becky Lynch thinks that she's making in her head is that I hate Israel so much because apparently they're just bombing children left and right. Like, literally, the bombs are hitting nothing but children over in the Gaza.
They target them. They're children-seeking missiles.
Children-seeking missiles. I was literally going to say that, but no.
They have bunker busters in Israel. They have baby busters.
I oppose that regime so much that I'm going to wear a Miss Rachel shirt because Miss Rachel also opposes that regime. So this is going to be my show of solidarity to Miss Rachel that, hey, we're both against Israel.
Do you know who else opposed a Jewish regime? Do you want to wear a T-shirt with that guy on it? Do you want to grow a mustache, Mr. Sami Zayn? There's a very famous guy. You would definitely turn more heads with that T-shirt than Miss Rachel.
I'm going to make I'm going to bring this all back together with our point with CM Punk, but I literally said this. Keep in mind, these are the same people who will call you Nazis, right? Because but let's be honest, what did Hitler want to do? He wanted to eradicate the Jews. And what are you doing 70 years later? Siding with a group of people who literally want to eradicate the Jews. Like there's no middle ground here. Like we'll get into this whole thing. I'll unpack it here later. But Rob, go ahead. What's your take on Miss Rachel? Why are people still allowing television to raise their children? I don't get it. You think you learn by now?
Yeah, and I'm a little bit outside this because I don't watch children's programming, and I'm pretty outside of the wrestling. I mean, I know a little bit about it because I used to watch it, but look, this is like first of all, this is really annoying behavior. Okay, I think that you can have a little bit of a different point of view and say that okay, what if she isn't controlled opposition or what a plant or whatever the thing is, like what if she's just an impressionable idiot? I mean, there's so many people who look at that situation as well as many situations as, oh, these people are being oppressed by the oppressor, and they can't really see any other side to it. They don't have any other, and like, listen, I genuinely feel bad for the Palestinian people that are caught in the middle of Hamas and Israel, because like they're literally just trying to figure out their lives, and they literally have they don't have any representation. They have some terrorist organization that claims to speak for them but really doesn't, and basically promotes more violence being enacted upon them. So like, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of impressionable people who just don't want to see kids die. And it's like, but of course, that's the easiest thing to propagandize. It's the easiest thing to be like, look at these suffering children. Won't you do something? And that's all these idiots on Twitter say. It's like, they're not contributing anything. They're not giving money to charity. They're not trying to get resources in the hands of people that need it. They're bitching and complaining for likes and engagements and all this shit. And so I don't know this young woman. But she obviously seems to be some kind, in children's programming, she seems to be somewhat influential. But all the wrong people.
Well, first of all, I just want to clarify just real quick. Miss Rachel is 42 and Becky Lynch, I believe, is 38. So both of these women are older than us. I just want to throw that out there.
But all the people that are like praising her or whatever are incredibly annoying, disingenuous, loud, obnoxious people that, have made asses of themselves time and time again. So it's not really looking good ultimately. And also here's the thing, however you want to look at that situation, you know what I mean? Like it's not a genocide. It's not, it's not what you're claiming it to be, or else the UN would have been up Israel's ass by now, because that's like their whole job, is to make sure that, there's no civilized country or whatever doing that shit, especially post World War II. So I understand. And again, it's the sentimental narrative. We've seen this throughout the last 15 years with all kinds of topics where people take, the Jussie Smollett thing, the fucking hoax with the noose around his neck. Everybody, at least the news, wanted to believe it was a hate crime. What happened? He was a liar. You know what I mean? And that's just one example. That's one example over the last decade where you get people riled up for the thing, and then it's like, oh, it's fucking bullshit.
There's been a guy on social media, I don't know his name, but people have shown like plenty of videos of him. He's a guy who's basically a paid agitator for Hamas. He's been involved, and I'm not even joking, anywhere between 8 to 15 death videos where he's being shown as a dead body that's been bombed by the Israeli government in 8 separate videos. It was like, the dude apparently has died like 4 years ago, and here he is doing an interview talking about how terrible it was that he got bombed. Like, he's like, they just showed the same person over and over again. And this is what happens. People don't understand how propaganda works, because here's the thing. They're going for the emotional pull. So what happens? They go to a site that was either recently hit by Israeli missile or something around those lines. What do? They put a child in that site. They throw a bunch of muck all over him. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe Israel bombed children. Now, of course, if they were actually bombed in that building, they'd be dead, which is not always the case here. But if you just see a crying child with muck all over him, he's in a destroyed building, you're just going to assume, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. And then there's another point, which is a very, very big elephant in the room with this whole thing, especially when it comes to children. But I'm going to let Eddie throw his hat in here, because I know he has a lot to say about Miss Becky and Miss Sammy. I will say this here too. Yes, I did say Miss Sammy. I did say Miss Sammy on purpose. I will say this here too. Sami Zayn is a habitual dumbass, because now he's publicly upset that Iran and Israel are beefing, and he's siding with Iran, obviously. But it's like, well, wait a second, aren't you Syrian? Like, aren't the people who you're literally out there promoting a charity to promote the better wealth and better health or something in Syria, Iran's the one that's actually causing a lot of the destruction and peril in Syria right now. They're not allies. So, of course, you would only be, I guess, put together over your shared hatred of Israel, which is kind of the elephant in the room there, right?
Okay, here we go.
There we go.
As the bombs fly on a cold and gray Tel Aviv morn, a poor little baby child was born in the Gaza.
I thought you were going to say you dropped the bomb on me.
And Miss Rachel cried. Because there's one thing Palestinians don't need. It's another hungry mouth to feed in the Gaza. All right.
Eddie, I know that it would probably get you assassinated, but man, like a karaoke cover of that would probably kill on a short. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, I know it'd probably get you killed, but
yeah, you would never be able to travel to the Middle East ever again. But I mean, it would.
He lives
funny.
in the Middle East. He's in California.
Oh yeah, that's even worse.
He's in the Middle East.
There's a lot of Persians in LA. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how I know that.
I can only hope that I get to get a giant spacesuit, just like Elvis, to go out there and face them.
You know what? Get
I would
yourself
love
a
it.
peanut butter and banana sandwich, and then NASA might hook you up.
Absolutely. Seriously, for it all, this is like really sad. Honestly, I think Miss Rachel's just like I think Rob said. I think she's not like a plant or anything. I think she's just a useful idiot. And I mean, this woman, she never expected this much fame from anything, I don't think. And oh my God, she's becoming a cultural icon. The one thing that the right doesn't understand, and it's something that the left loves to do, is they love to take little innocent things. And I don't know, this is like in Saul Alinsky's book. You take innocent things or things that people gravitate to, and then you just claim them as your own. Like they defend you. They're part of your system. They're made for you. And then you can dismiss anyone else who comes by and says it. Like when we were trying to say the Republican punks, right? Oh, we're Republican punks. We listen to Rage Against the Machine and Dead Kennedys. They told you to get the shot. And it's just it doesn't work the same way. Like for whatever reason, the right in that sense, Israel, what have you, they don't attach them amazingly. I don't know how Israel doesn't do it, considering the fact they create media. They don't attach themselves. They don't attach themselves to positive things. Mm-hmm. Like if these people, if Israel were to attach themselves to Bluey, I think they would work out, and it'd be a direct insult to the Muslims too.
And look, I get what you're saying, but you're creating a firestorm. Can you imagine if Israel and Palestine started beefing and using children's shows as the turf war?
Everyone go to YouTube. It's called Mafor.
Mm-hmm. Israel has dropped Peppa Pig on Tehran today.
That's how you get them. And they both hate pork. So it's going to be a double shot on it.
Barney was spotted in the Gaza today.
Bang.
Of course he'd be on their side.
Wait, Jews don't even eat bacon if it's
neither
kosher?
side does. They both hate bacon.
Not if they keep kosher.
No kosher though. Not even no.
No. The Jews don't do pork at all. That's
okay.
like
No, I
they're
literally.
hot-
Okay,
they're
I thought it
kosher
just had to
dogs.
be
They're
less.
kosher
But
hot
okay,
dogs.
no pork.
I thought those are all beef though.
Yeah, they have their own hot dog, the Hebrew National.
Yeah, I thought the Hebrew Nationals were all beef though.
They are.
Yeah.
You're right.
Oh,
You're right.
well, yes.
I'm super picky about my hot dogs, so I do know about that.
Yeah, okay. So I was like, wait a minute. What universe am I in now where Hebrew is now pork? Whoa.
Right.
Probably Reform does not does eat pork.
You know how penny pinching they are? They have kosher salt. Salt comes from the sea.
Yeah, and it's delicious. Anyway, so here's the elephant in the room with a lot of this. Oh my God, think of the children. Think of the children. Okay, if you want to think of the children, let's get real about the children in Gaza, because here's something that no one wants to hear, but it's pretty much true, right? Now, if you want to sit there and say, oh no, 3-year-old babies have been bombed in Gaza, and it's horrible and it's terrible. Horrible and terrible it is. You also want to know the reality of the situation is that a lot of the children in Gaza are actually child soldiers. And here's what I mean by this. You know, in Islam, which happens to be kind of, the elephant in the room no one wants to address with this whole situation, a lot of elephants. But in Islam, obviously, I guess you can call it Prophet Muhammad, he actually had a marriage with an 8-year-old girl and had sex with the 8-year-old girl, right? So in Islamic countries, in order to honor their prophet, they also have to or at least try to normalize the idea that no, there's nothing wrong with having sex with 8-year-olds. Well, with that same line of thinking, if there's nothing wrong with having sex with an 8-year-old child at that age, there's really nothing wrong for an 8-year-old to be involved in a war when you're trying to essentially wipe out your enemy, which happens to be Israel and the Jews. So a lot of people don't notice, a lot of people, especially child soldiers in Gaza, are recruited at very, very young ages. And one, they're either recruited to be in propaganda videos, or upwards to the age of 12, they are literally enlisted to be soldiers fighting war against Israel. Because here's the concept. It's very easy to go out there and lower your guard and like go hug the children because you think, oh, the children are innocent, they're not involved, and they come to find out they're actually part of the same resistance that this whole thing causes. So guess what? What exactly do you do when you're essentially fighting an enemy that has, let's just say, an early interest rate of being soldiers at the age of 12 years old? Do you just say, oh no, we can't kill them because they're children, even though they're actively bombing and killing people from the other side? We know, we also talked about, was it the whole April 7th thing from a couple of years ago that kind of restarted this whole thing? And I mean restarted because let's be honest, this has been a war that's been going on since basically Ishmael and Isaac. So it's not like this is just like something new, but this is the recent event that's all caused up to this. So everyone's talking about think of the children. It's like, why is no one criticizing the side that you guys are all essentially all gun-ho for, using children as essentially shields, bullet shields, bomb shields, and quite literally Islamic soldiers? Because like I said, in their religion, if you die as a martyr fighting the enemy, that's your free ticket to heaven. That's what the religion teaches. So there's no downside in the eyes of Islam for sending, let's say, a 10-year-old out there to commit a great act of terror in the name of Allah, as they all say, because that's their ticket to martyrism by doing stuff like that. Why are we not essentially criticizing the cause of the side that you're all gun-ho for, you're all emotional for? Why are we ignoring this very, very key element to the story here, which should raise a few more questions that no one wants to answer there, but it makes people uncomfortable to even think about it, so we just pretend like it's not happening. But then we want to say that, oh my God, somebody think of the children. It's like, well, yeah, let's think of the children here for a second. Why is no one bringing that up? Maybe because they don't really know, because people like Sami Zayn and Becky Lynch are freaking idiots. That's all I gotta say.
I have pointed this out before, and certainly, like, I with October 7th and that whole thing that happened, like, listen, I think that there's plenty of stuff over the last 50 years that you can criticize the Israeli government on, but and here's the thing: they are a literal established government that's backed by the United States, whatever, taxpayers, defense contractors, whatever. And I think that's why a lot of people are sensitive to it. But like I was saying earlier, it's also very easy to propagandize that kind of thing. And so I don't know. Like, I literally don't have any inside information to, oh, hey, like, they're using kids as shields. They have operations going on inside hospitals. I mean, there's things that I've heard, that I've read, where you can understand why it looks one way to the outside world and something else is going on, in Gaza, in that area. So I don't know. Obviously I'm pretty anti-war. I'm against what's going on right now with Israel and Iran. And so I don't like to see anybody, but especially like civilians, get caught in the crossfire. But you're dealing with a established government entity that's very nationalistic in nature against what is basically a terrorist organization who hides among the people they purport to care about. So it's incredibly complicated situation, incredibly nuanced situation. I don't pretend to have answers. I'm just trying to, like, you know what I mean, give some perspective.
Yeah, and I think Leslie Tarkin brought up this too. I've heard from people who have served in that region, who are actively in that region, that is a warning that they're giving the soldiers. Like, soldiers who are kind of like in the middle of this, or it's a battle of life and death. Not only are kids used to carry out acts of horrific terror. They've also been used for intel as well. People say kids make great spies. Like I said, people tend to have their guard down around children because they think that they're not as threatening as the adults are, which is a great opportunity for bad and good at the same time in these type of situations. So yes, this stuff does happen. So if you want to talk about the scope of what's happening here, absolutely. As far as the Israeli government, yeah, if you want to criticize some of the things that they do, I say probably the large portion of that criticism, probably, I don't know, counterintelligence, spying, stuff like that, because there's been a lot of things be like, okay, that sounds like a little shady. So it's like, don't take it as me defending Israel in that context here, but it's like, look, let's really be real about what's going on. Let's tell the whole story and not try to do, this Instagram, oh my God, look at the children nonsense, because we all know that is disingenuous at the end of the day.
Look. Just stop the whole conversation. Just full on e-break this, okay? Because guess who's not going and fighting this battle? Guess who's not going and making sure those people are evac out of there? Right? Exactly. But guess who is not going over there? It's Sami Zayn. It's these highfalutin people. Miss Rachel is
Becky
not going
Lynch
over to the Gaza to airlift children out of the path of these child-seeking missiles.
We're fortunate sons.
Yeah, right.
Well, and see, that's just it. Is that like this is the problem I have with this conflict, is that when this was established originally, because the English were so smart, they decided we'll just split it in half, whatever, and we'll give the Jewish people the preferable real estate, and we'll just leave the rest of that up to those people who were there when we showed up. And there might be some skirmishes, but
I disagree with that notion that they gave.
What notion?
That the British were giving preferential territory to the Jews. I don't think that any part of that area was preferential until they actually made it. They actually made it into a livable place.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I'll circle back around to this on my second point, because there's a second half of this too, and it kind of is a bigger scope of the whole situation. But go ahead, Cider.
No, I just wanted to conclude with what happened is that the United States has a bad habit of leaving room for our enemies to do better. And you'll notice that the Europeans don't tend to deal with these territory problems, despite having all of these various tribes and different groups that once occupied these spaces. Like the Franks and Normans didn't get along with the Britons. There's a history of very ancient wars that shaped most of what, Europe looks like because of that. And what do you know? They don't have this conflict of whose land is where and why, because the right of conquest was enforced. You lost, we won, this is ours, deal with it. And because we've tried to treat this as a two-state solution, both sides feel they have 100% legitimacy to the other guy's land. And it has to be finalized, and it's going to be ugly, and it's going to be brutal, and there's no telling who's going to come out on the other side, because both of them are treating this as the extinction of their way of life if they fail.
Because this is where it all comes down to. We talk about who owns the land, who has the right to the land. Bible says that it was Isaac, not Ishmael. 600 years after Christ already ascended back to heaven after his death, burial, and resurrection, we get the birth of Islam. Islam says, no, it wasn't Isaac, it was Ishmael. And ever since then, these two entities, the Arabs and the Jews, have been literally trying to wipe each other out. Mainly the Arabs, because let's be honest, the Arabs, I mentioned the whole thing about martyrism, but yeah, they feel like they need to take full control of that. And I'll show you how this all ends here in a second. I'll make one point here, then we'll jump over to the CM Punk story. This is what you're kind of seeing now in a nutshell with, like I said, the Palestinian stuff and the Iranian stuff. This is from Zechariah, by the way. This is Old Testament, so even the Jews, quote unquote, have to acknowledge this because it's written in your book. What does it say here? It says, the burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, saith the Lord, which stretcheth through the heavens and layeth the foundation and formeth the spirit of the man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all people who run about, and there shall be siege in both Judah and against Jerusalem. And in that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people, that all that burden themselves with it shall be cut down into pieces throughout all of the people of the earth that be gathered together against it. What is this a prophecy of? It is a prophecy of one day the entire world, meaning all the nations, will in fact try to take out the nation of Israel one day. And you're starting to see it now, because what is the implication here with the Palestine and Iran? Israel's bombing kids. Israel's killing kids. Now they're bombing Iran. Oh my God, somebody needs to stop Israel Israel. We need to take Israel out. That thought process is going to lead to one day everyone following a ruler who promises to do exactly that. Now, before I get back to that side of this is kind of in the same lane here because this shows a kind of a big hypocrisy point with a lot of these people. Let's talk about CM Punk. Somebody asked me who's worse, CM Punk or Sami Zayn. That's basically asking you if you hate Stalin or Hitler worse. It's really just a personal preference at that point. So this is CM Punk. Well, we've talked about him many, many times before. He is a liberal douche to the core. It's not a surprise at this point. I don't think anyone's shocked. He attended the No Kings protest this weekend. Now, if you're wondering what the hell No Kings is, because I didn't even hear about it until I saw it this Saturday, apparently the left had organized massive left-wing protests all over the country. There were some in Minnesota and LA and Philly and obviously in Chicago as well, where they're protesting Trump because in their eyes, they see Trump as a king, as a dictator, and as a tyrant because of all the stuff that's going on with ICE right now. As you guys all know, the whole ICE LA situation was a big one last week, and now everyone's still reeling from that. So now everyone feels like they have to come out and protest ICE because that's what they've been told to do. So CM Punk was at this ICE protest in Chicago, which is his hometown. Again, this is not really surprising. Everyone knows CM Punk is a big lefty. He's very vocal about his left-wing politics. He goes on wrestling shows promoting trans rights and Chicago teachers unions and stuff like that. Like, this is exactly what he does. But people pointed out the hilarious hypocrisy behind this whole thing because CM Punk, while attending a quote-unquote No Kings protest, is actively preparing right now to go to Saudi Arabia in less than 11 days to wrestle John Cena for the WWE Championship in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now, people have pointed this out because CM Punk over the last several years was very vocal against Saudi Arabia. This is back at the time, I think 2018, where Saudi Arabia had killed that journalist who worked for the Washington Post, chopped him up, threw his body all around the city and whatnot, and the left has been against Saudi Arabia ever since then. This was a tweet from several years ago where Miz was doing a show for WWE at the time, and then CM Punk took exception to the Miz and basically said, "Go suck a blood money covered dick in Saudi Arabia, you effing dork." That's what he said because CM Punk is not a fan of Saudi Arabia, at least in his personal life. Now, when it comes to going to Saudi Arabia and getting paid millions of dollars to do a fake match with John Cena, apparently he will put all of that aside and go out there and dance for the king. Was it Ben Solomon? Is that the guy's name in Saudi Arabia? He'll go out there and dance for him all the way, right? So this is a guy who's actively protesting the United States of America. Well, yeah, basically, he's actively protesting the United States of America. He's protesting Trump. He's gotten this whole thing of, well, we don't have kings around here. We're not. And then you're going to go around and take millions of dollars to go wrestle in Saudi Arabia because they're willing to pay you money, and apparently your morals only go as far as your wallet will allow it to. That's where basically what he's saying, and even people who are normally his fans are calling him out on this. This is a point that I want to bring up here. Let me bring Eddie back in because I don't know why he dropped out here. This is a point that I want to bring out here. There's a lot of people who criticize Punk when he made his announcement that he was going to do this match. Because like I said, they hate Saudi Arabia. I made the point, and it's a very good point, that you same people who hate and despise Saudi Arabia, I basically, as far as theology and ideology, they're virtually identical to Palestine, which you openly support. So much so that if you look at the flags of Saudi Arabia that has the Shahada written on it, if you don't know what that is, go tune into the Bible Lens. I've explained it in great detail. The flag for Saudi Arabia looks virtually identical to the flag of Hamas, which is the Palestine group that you guys support. So why is it that you guys hate Saudi Arabia so much, but then you love Hamas and Palestine? It makes literally no sense whatsoever. And this is the point that I was making when it comes to people like Becky Lynch and Sami Zayn, because they make no ideological sense whatsoever. And here's why. You hate Saudi Arabia, you despise them, you think that they're the bad guy. Meanwhile, you love Palestine. At the same time, you're now crying for Iran, a nation that, let's be honest, for the last several decades have been trying to destroy and wipe out the United States of America just as much as they've been trying to do Israel here, right? Israel over in the Middle East, right? You think that you can have all of these completely ideological, conflicting viewpoints and still be on the right side of this whole situation. It makes no sense. And this is how you know that there's really something more deeper, probably even spiritual going on here. Because like I said, it makes no logical sense for someone to be like, yeah, Palestine good, but Saudi bad, but Iran good. Like, you can't hold all these positions and be a consistent person. It's basically, at that point, your opinions are just pissing with the wind. You'll change on a dime because you don't have any original opinion. You're basically doing what you're told at this point. And when it comes to people, like I said, Miss Rachel and Sami Zayn and CM Punk, they're all in the same group of this whole situation, and they're all just being led to as the marks that they are. Because if you apply any kind of common sense or logic to any of this, even their own positions, nothing that they're doing makes any kind of sense. So yeah, he'll protest Trump, say that Trump's a king and a dictator, and he doesn't want to be associated with Trump because of those reasons. But then he'll go out there and get paid $1 or $2 million to do a match with a real dictator who, by his own admission, has actually murdered people verifiably. You know this, but you'll take their money, come back over here, and then protest the United States. How does that make any sense logically to anyone whatsoever? Rob, I'll start this one off of you, and I have another point on this that I'll bring up here in a second. But what is your thoughts on CM Punk being another giant, massive hypocrite on this whole situation?
Yeah, and I'm really please don't take this as me trying to see some logic in this, but I mean, I can see how somebody might see that people in Gaza are whatever oppressed or whatever, and the Saudi Arabia government is obviously incredibly wealthy. But here's the thing: Saudi Arabia actually did the opposite thing that Iran is doing currently. You know, they actually spread the money to their own people. Like, they actually shared the wealth. And Iran kind of runs a I don't know, autocratic. I'm trying to think of the basically a religious theocracy. There we go. You know, so it's just like, you know, all of these countries have their own problems or have their own issues. And obviously, you know, Palestine isn't a country, or Gaza's not a country in the first place. So it's just like, I don't know. CM Punk seems like an idiot. He just seems like an attention-seeking idiot. And it's I mean, I've talked about him the last couple of years. I still have never seen the guy wrestle. So but there must be some kind of a following there. I'm not sure what it is. But with what you told me about wrestling fans these days, I'm not entirely surprised. So yeah, look, I was trying not to pay attention to the news all weekend. You know, I do my usual thing. I watch movies, but just scrolling through Reddit, and it's just like, you guys have nothing better to do than to like, and you know, the whole thing doesn't even make sense. You can dislike everything that Trump has done since he's gotten into office. You can think he is stupid for the tariffs and whatever, you know, whatever your opinion might be. He hasn't done anything that's authoritarian. He hasn't done anything that a king would do, you know. And I love that he like came back with the whole like, I mean, I have to fight hard as hell to get shit put through, you know. Like, it's obviously paraphrased or whatever, but it's just like, it's just, you know, you would have to have just a sense of humor about it, because it's like, it's a bunch of angry people that can't pinpoint one specific thing. I mean, you said it was about ICE. I mean, yeah. He ran on that. He ran on, hey, I'm going to round up the illegals and get them out of this country. And now, if anything, he's gone back on that because of the few caveats he's made this past week. But, you know, all of that being said, it's just like, CM Punk is an idiot. I don't know why anybody listens to him or thinks that he has anything of value to say. And yeah, I don't know that he's a hypocrite because of the Saudi Arabia thing, but if he takes people's money that ultimately are, you know, religious zealots, and then, you know, what wants to criticize Israel, it just doesn't add up. It doesn't make up a consistent person with a thought out narrative or an idea of what they think.
It's the big problem with all these people, because all of these people, like I said, they're pro Islam, they're pro LGBTQ, they're pro, you know, feminism and all this stuff, yet they all go to Saudi Arabia and justify Saudi Arabia, and then have the audacity to come back and protest here. living, like, you've literally seen a country of real oppression where, keep in mind, women weren't even allowed to wrestle for the first couple of years in Saudi Arabia because that's how strict the government was. You weren't even allowed to wrestle. To this day, they have to wear full-fledged bodysuits in order to avoid literally being arrested and possibly executed by the Saudi Arabian government. And then you still have the audacity to be in the face of that, turn around and be like, Trump's the dictator, he's the evil one. Like, really? Eddie, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, CM Punk has always been a moron. I can tell you the reason why everyone likes him. It's because he really does like CM Punk is the eternal 13-year-old, edgy, atheistic, like everyone's against me no matter what happens. So I gotta get everyone against He's that kind of guy, and he's always been that kind of guy. And it's the reason why he's never won a fight in his life. But for some reason, everyone thinks he can. And like. But I still like him because like he likes the business. Like I only like him because of the business. I don't have anything. Everything else, it's all cookie cutter shit though. Everyone has
like,
their
Jeff Hardy without the upside.
Yeah, well, Jeff Hardy. No, even worse because Jeff Hardy at least did drugs, so he was like semi interesting. He would jump off of things.
The upside,
yeah.
Exactly.
CM Punk
Jeff Hardy would jump off of the stage, a swanton off of the stage, then get a DUI 3 hours later.
Exactly. CM Punk, by the way, would fucking lecture you, hey, don't drink that beer, because it's going to lead to really bad problems with you when you're 60. So,
that's the other thing about Punk that's just so, because he's so self-righteous too, because everyone knows his whole gimmick has been, oh, I'm straight edge, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I'm better than you because I'm straight edge. And then like this whole thing's just blown up his head there too. So not only is he a dumbass douche, but he's like a self-righteous douche on top of that. So he's literally the worst of all worlds.
He's a terrible and the fact that over there in the WWE, they give you a personality. And you basically play that personality up to the hilt. And you don't want to rock the boat inside the locker room, because if you rock the boat in the locker room, you're not going to get booked. It's still that's still implemented. Like unlike Hollywood, where if you can find like you can find like a little mini minor acting role. You turn the boat into WWE, you're not getting booked. So they don't put you
and notice. And notice, like I said, all of CM Punk's, let's just say, outward political opinions have been definitely muted since he's gone back to WWE. Like I said, in AEW, he would walk out in abortion shirts and trans rights shirts and make all a bunch of ridiculous political statements. He's not doing that anymore. I think the closest he came is that he wore a Chicago Teachers Union shirt a few months back, because apparently the teachers of Chicago need more money. Have you seen those graduation rates? And then he also, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, him and Sami Zayn came out together on Saturday night's main event to wear pro-Palestine colors, because like I said, they all support Palestine now.
Yeah, and those are all, everyone wants to blame Helmsley for that, and it's definitely Stephanie. Stephanie's the one that's saying, listen, you can have like some political opinions if you want, you can go out there and show a little bit of flair, but there's no way that CM Punk is coming out in pro-abortion costumes and everything else anymore. I can't imagine Stephanie saying yes to that. That would blow my mind, especially with how many kids she has.
Yeah, right. Well, but then again, Becky Lynch literally like months after she gave birth to her kid was going out promoting abortion too. So it's like these people aren't smart. There's no logic to anything that they're saying here, and I'll prove that in just a second. Rick, you've been here for a while. You got anything you want to add to this? No, great. Cider, what about you?
Oh well, let's start. Wait a minute. Hang on. There's not much I want to add, except that it sounds like CM Punk is able to kind of compartmentalize his views. Like here, he's very much of the people. He'll fight for the people, opposing the Donald, and that's why you're not seeing me, because I'm in an undisclosed location, continuously moving from safe house to safe house to avoid ICE. So I can't let you know where I'm at.
The underground Taco Bell.
No, I don't.
Yeah, because if you get deported, they're sending you to RS. That's even worse.
Well, I do have some distant cousins somewhere out there.
Are they in the cartel?
When it comes to his personal paycheck, of course he's going to put his own interests first. It's lovely that he gets, in his mind, my thinking, just analyzing it, he thinks that he's going to get all of these, all this applause and recognition by speaking truth to power and fighting the dictator, Trump, who thinks Nazis are fine people and who thinks that soldiers are suckers and losers and things like this. Those are articles of faith, but he's going to put his finances first, last, and always. And if the crown prince of Saudi Arabia, because the king is very old and I presume senile, but the crown prince is basically running the show. If he can get him a good amount of money, of course he's going to take it. So I think he's just kind of compartmentalizing this. Like, I'm a good person. This money that I'm taking, I'll eventually give it to good causes that will help the poor people and fight tyranny at home.
All it's going to do is buy more dog food for his quote-unquote child, because he's 48 years old. He's been married for 13 years and doesn't have a single kid.
No, I'm just looking at it from potentially his viewpoint, not from reality. I don't know. That's just my thinking, that he sees every action that he takes, spoken or in the ring, as good, because he is good. He is always good. He is never bad. He is never wrong. He's never hypocritical.
He's on the right side of history.
In his mind. So that's how he can rationalize all his actions, even if they're contradictory, because he personally is always good.
But here's the problem: is that to dictate what history says, you have to win. So losers don't get to dictate history. That's the whole thing. And every time
never want
to
fight in his life
about how Western settlers, blah 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 blah. It's like, oh yeah, you mean we won? We adapted? We were better than our the competition or the opposing party? Yeah, that's how history works.
So
he went into the UFC, got beaten up the first time, and then he trained for 8 months to make sure he was going to be a professional fighter this time. And then he got his ass kicked by a journalist who's even worse than him, personality-wise.
No, fighting-wise, too. Like, if it wasn't for CM Punk, Mike Jackson would be the worst fighter in the history of the UFC.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he's on television running around talking about he's a badass because he put Jack Perry in a headlock. Like,
he threw Jack Perry around.
Exactly.
That's why I like Punk. You see why I like Punk? He throws Jack Perry around like a mark.
He can't beat Mike Jackson, but he could put the son of Luke Perry in a chokehold, and it makes him a badass. Cider, you got anything to add to this?
Just that he was too chicken to fight the Green Ranger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I remember, he wanted that fight for years, but let's be honest. I mean, it looks good on paper, but Jason is way too skilled for CM Punk. There wouldn't have been a athletic commission on earth that would have ever approved that fight.
The man had Jesus didn't tap on both forearms, like daring you. Try it. He was not only arguably the most recognized live action children's show star of the 90s anyway, also completely undefeated in the UFC.
MMA,
sorry, in MMA. And so
well, I mean, like I said, Jason is legitimately like a martial artist. It's like, but Punk convinced everyone that he was a quote unquote Muay Thai specialist. That's how he got into the UFC in the first place.
Because he wrapped his wrists and wrapped his ankles, and people were like,
"Oh,
he looks like the guy."
He told
Indian guy.
Yeah, he told everyone that he's a Muay Thai specialist. By the way, someone who's watched real Muay Thai for I don't know how anyone ever believed that lie to begin with, but that
think his knees will go that high.
Exactly, but because of that, he told everyone that he's legit badass, and everyone was like, "Well, Brock won a title, so let's give him a shot." And then he literally made the biggest mistake in the history of the UFC. To this day, he's the reason why they will never sign another pro wrestler unless he has a legitimate championship wrestling or kickboxing.
Like he moonlights in MMA already, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not. Go ahead.
Teddy Hart slapped him in the face, walked away 20 feet. I saw it. Walked away 20 feet, and then came back because Punk said something underneath his breath. Teddy Hart came back, slapped Punk on the other side of his face, and then went back to the outside and said, if anytime Punk wants to come outside and fight me, he can. and then Punk tried to, but then Teddy Hart was just too much for him. So,
but by the way, people have tried to do revisionist history on that fight like it never happened. It's like I've heard several people who have seen it with their own two eyes, and it said it did not end well for Punk that night.
So I'm amazed that I had never thought I would hear the name Teddy Hart again.
There you go.
So Teddy Hart was the focus of like half of Revenge of the Sis's like night show, Nightwave, for like this was 3 years ago, but it was like a year-long thing, and he called in to the show. And anyway, this is just, it's not important, but it's just like Teddy Hart's a real piece of shit. So the fact that like, you know, he got one up on CM Punk is kind of hilarious.
It's hilarious. Yeah, Teddy Punk again, another scumbag, Teddy Hart. Gets one over on fucking Punk.
Oh man, it's so bad. It's all so bad. But yeah, look, I'll just end it here with this because, like I said, I think there's like a multitude of people in the WWE locker room and really just real world in general who all fall into this line. I wrote this about a week ago. It's like if you ... love Palestine, hate Saudi, and cry for Iran, you are going to take the mark of the beast because your opinions piss with the wind, and you will go with whatever the popular trend is. So the only question is right hand or forehead, and that goes to you, Miss Rachel Lynch. So there you go. All these people are just dumb. You wish that they wouldn't be so dumb, but I mean, some people.
Miss Rachel Lynch, has she been, molded into one being?
Go back and watch the first half of the show, Rick. I'm not circling back here for you.
That's the communist main plan.
Yeah. Well, since Rick wants to give his opinions here, here's a story that we can jump over to. Elizabeth Berkley says that Showgirls is a cult classic because of the LGBTQ community. And I'm assuming that she's talking specifically about gay men. So
it's all right, Cider. You're hiding up there in Maine. It's okay.
Hiding, sure. Yes, from all of this, that's what I'm hiding from. You bet.
I'm the one that's hiding. I'm hiding from ice.
The sole reason why we're having this discussion right now is because Rick made an offhand comment on last week's show that he was going to watch Showgirls at some point in time, and then literally Elizabeth Berkley made this comment thanking the LGBTQ fans for embracing the film. Yeah, exactly. Elizabeth Berkley, this is from Variety, made a surprise appearance at the LGBTQ Pride Night screening of her cult classic Showgirls. Like I said, if you guys who've seen the movie, it's a ridiculous, over-the-top movie. It borders on so good and so bad in some aspects, but it's just outright bad as well. So, but apparently, gay men love this film. The movie was showing part of Cinepa's 30th year celebration at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles. Oh God, even the dead had to watch this. Happy Pride. I love you guys so much, Berkley said, citing cheers and applause. You have no idea I love you so much. I just want to honor this exhilarating, powerful, bold, magical, sexy, strong, resilient LGBTQ plus community. She continued by saying, you guys saw me before anyone else saw me. Really? So we're just going to pretend like Saved by the Bell didn't happen? Is that what we're doing now?
I mean, we saw her defeat her caffeine pill addiction.
Right. Let's just pretend like that didn't happen. Yeah, sure, woman. You believed in me before anybody. Again, you were on the show for like 5 years. Like, how do you just like sidestep that and pretend like it didn't happen? You believed in this film and you found yourself in Nomi. Or is it Nomi or Naomi? It was Nomi in the movie, right?
Yeah.
In the movie. Okay. Yeah, and obviously it's this movie about
terrible.
An aspiring dancer in Las Vegas who befriends and then gets double-crossed by Gina Gershon. Well, I think Gina Gershon literally came out and said not too long ago that this film gave her PTSD. So apparently she does not have the love affair of this movie than Berkley has. So.
She gets pushed downstairs, so yeah, I can understand.
I watched some of the clips. It's awful. Like the whole time. It's like, oh my God.
You know what's funny is this is directed by Paul Verhoeven, who did RoboCop, Total Recall, Starship Troopers, but it's a soapy melodrama and it has to be seen that way. Otherwise it's like, what the fuck is this?
Okay, look, we've all seen the movie. We don't have to pretend like we haven't. The sex scene in the pool, I literally audibly said, what the fuck are you doing? It's not sexy at one iota whatsoever. And look, Elizabeth Berkley
trying to kickstart a snowmobile.
I thought
Elizabeth Berkley.
epileptic fit at that point.
I will say this: Elizabeth Berkley in the 1990s was a smoke show. We will not pretend like she was in any way, shape, or form. That scene is ungodly, unsexy. Watching that, and it's just like literally just takes you through it. What do you? No one has sex like that. No one. That's not how it works. It's like, what are you doing?
Here's the thing. He also did Basic Instinct, so it's like the guy knows how to shoot a sex scene. So you have to wonder what the fuck led to that being the decision and that being the shot that they chose. Like, what are you doing?
That's literally a take where you just say cut and then just throw your hands up in the air. Like, what are you doing, guy? What are you doing?
Move on. Just move on. Yep.
It is so unbelievably ridiculous.
The worst part about it is the whole time, and this is the whole movie too. The worst part about it, they had that 1990s like girl face, like you know how we have now the Botox face now. They all have that face where they're all looking like they all show their front teeth like butthead. They're like, everybody.
I mean, there's so much bad about this movie. Thanks, gay people, because now you've made this somewhat culturally relevant. So thank you. Rick, do you want to explain yourself?
Well, no, there's nothing to explain. Having seen the movie, and I don't even remember saying that I was going to see it, but I didn't ultimately. They were showing it, but I went to a soccer game instead. So I guess, yeah. Anyway,
you found something even gayer than this movie to attend.
I knew you were going to say that.
Instead of seeing Elizabeth Berkley, you went out to go see balls get kicked.
Have you guys seen Casino?
Yes.
Casino, right? Okay. So you know the scene where Robert De Niro is like saying the chicks are too fat? That came over from France to be part of it. That's what this movie is. It's just like, hey, I'm trying to make it and I'm willing to do anything to get there. And it's just a ridiculously campy, over the top.
Look, this is a terrible, terrible film in every imaginable way. It looks awful. It's awfully acted, awfully directed. Though I do think that Gina Gershon, I think she kind of embraced kind of the camp nature of this.
Yeah.
Everyone else is trying so hard. It's just the plot makes
no
sense.
In Gina's,
there's a big difference between John what's his name camp and Verhoeven camp.
Yeah. True. Well, look, Gina, in her respect, it's like she did other things, so she's not solely known for Showgirls, even though she was in the film. This film basically destroyed Elizabeth Berkley's career, because she did an interview about a year after this movie came out on Howard Stern's show, and basically said that it was her career decision that she didn't want to do television anymore. She wanted to essentially do the movie star thing. So after Saved by the Bell, she was done with that show. She didn't want to do television anymore. This was supposed to be her first breakout role, and it was an absolute dumpster fire. And because she didn't want to do television in any capacity, because there were shows that were willing to like give her on, but no, she wanted to be a movie star. And when that film came out, everyone was like, "No, like you're
what happened done." Was that she wanted to kind of break away from Jesse, the character, and be as completely opposite. So what could be more opposite than this sleazy, trashy psycho who is like beating up people, and everything just seems so exaggerated.
Yeah.
So it didn't work, and it pretty much did wreck her career. I don't think she's had much of any success afterwards.
I mean, what was the other movie she did right afterwards? It was like Best Friend's Wife or something along those lines. You remember?
I don't know.
She was. I've said in the chat earlier. She was in Any Given Sunday as Al Pacino's like love interest, but she literally plays a call girl. So, she hasn't really. She never developed any kind of a range or any kind of a career.
I'm not a whore.
I'm looking. I'm a dancer. I'm not a whore. I'm reading a little further down here where she says it's about vindication, reclamation. It's all about owning.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up.
You know what it is? It's camp. It's just such a ridiculous, exaggerated manner, and I think that's why gay.
It's Rocky Horror Picture Show for even gayer people.
Well, I think.
Yeah, but that's actually a good movie. That's the difference.
I think that gay people embrace it because it is just so over the top, in the same way that they embraced Mommy Dearest. They love
Oh,
that
you don't
movie.
love Mommy Dearest? Come on, dude. That
Oh
shit's
man.
so fucking awesome.
I
I
I
mean,
I
terrible,
laugh.
but
I
yeah,
laugh so hard
yeah, me too.
at Mommy Dearest.
Yeah,
Uh, But
Yeah, so
gay
she
men love
did.
it, and they love this one too because again, it's just so over the top and it's just so outrageous. I don't. That's the only explanation that I could think as to why gay men love this movie. It's not a good movie. It's a terrible movie. It's just unbelievably bad.
Yeah, so the extent of her movie career was Showgirls. She did First Wives Club, and that was only because that was basically in development and production around the same time. So she did that movie, and then like Rob mentioned, Any Given Sunday was the only other notable film that she was in up to that point. Everything else out there was just other crap. Like if her whole plan was to get out of the role of Jesse Spano, plan failed horribly. And let's be honest here, this whole thing with like embracing the cult aspect of the film, it's like this is the movie that destroyed your career. It was rough for you for 30 plus years, and essentially this is your way of coping with your failures. So I was like, no, actually it was a
Well,
good thing because look at the community that's circling this movie
well,
now.
I think it's a case of if you can't beat them, join them, and she's decided that if she's going to have any kind of notoriety, it's going to be in this film. You don't see, for example, Faye Dunaway embrace the love that gay people have for Mommy Dearest. She still runs away from it, even though I think I was listening to another podcast
Well,
where they said
she was depicted beating her daughter, screaming, "No more wire hangers!"
that's a great
improper.
scene. Believe me, that I'd say that she transcended screen acting and slipped into kabuki theater. But
It was
I would
amazing.
say that somebody on another podcast said, Faye Dunaway could make millions just showing up to screenings and saying no wire hangers and waving a hanger around. This I don't know. I don't know if this is a Rocky Horror type thing where they participate to the audience like they do with maybe I guess Rocky Horror or I think Grease, maybe even Grease 2. It's just a bad movie. It just so poorly written, directed. And remember, Joe Esterhaus got what, $3 million. He got $3 million to write this, and it's just bad. I don't know why gay people love this movie, but my theory is it's just so over the top and it's just so camp and so outrageous. If you see her performance, I wrote in my review that it's almost like 3D acting where she's literally trying to thrust herself on you. And in more ways than one, apparently. And it's just, she's just so unhinged. Every reaction that she has is so big and broad and over the top. I guess that's why gay men love it because she's so big and broad and over the top. Everything, a lot of gay
but
men
it's
like to be big and broad and over the top.
but it's not even theatrical. It's like this like this uh melodramatic theatric, like it's like multiple categories of an over the top performance that is infused with so much that it doesn't render anything. Like there's nothing that comes out of it because you're trying to force it
Yes,
too much. Like,
there were
yeah.
times
it's
in the
the most
movie when I
it's the
thought
most
that she was literally insane, and I'm not sure if like Nomi or Elizabeth
Yeah.
Berkley were quite literally insane. I'm
It's the
sorry,
most
Eddie.
over. It's the most expensive Lifetime movie ever. Like it's just nothing but over the top actressing and just a storyline that you couldn't comprehend to begin with. And then it's a little Skinamaxy too. You throw a little sex in there, a little titillation.
Right.
And,
It's a very trashy movie, first of all. Even if it was good, like the material itself is trashy. So that's the
Yeah.
starting point. And then when you don't have good dialogue, when you don't have characters that are worth investing in, I like if I ever got to interview Paul Verhoeven, I would seriously be like, dude, I love all your movies except like what the fuck happened with Showgirls? Like what happened? Like what was it? The studio?
What?
Did they tell you to do something? Like because like he was a incredibly creative guy, very smart, but it's like why? And he
I
does have a
think what
trashy aesthetic to him, but it's like what were you doing? Like what happened?
I think in a sense it was because they were going to release this as an NC-17 film. They kind of saw it as as an almost we're going to break barriers. We're going to shock the world. We're going to do
Like a
something
free ride
outrageous.
to be as tasteless as possible.
Yes, it's interesting. I did see an interview with Joe Esterhaus when the election was coming on, and he said, "You know, this is a Bob Dole movie," because Bob Dole was going on about the filth in Hollywood. I was going, "Well, it's a Bob Dole on Viagra movie, but it's not a Bob Dole movie." This is
You guys remember Striptease with Demi Moore?
yes,
That was fantastic. Okay,
Demi.
see, that's what I.
That was a
For what
better
it is.
movie. It wasn't a
Oh.
good movie necessarily, but it was a much better
Tremendously.
movie than Showgirls.
Tremendously.
It was
For what it is,
marginally better.
Yeah.
for what it is, Elizabeth Berkley was ahead of her time in that sense, because right after Showgirls, there was a plethora of like stripper movies and hooker movies. They gave a hooker the Academy Award nomination for Leaving Las Vegas,
That's
and
right.
they gave a hooker the Academy Award for Monster.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And Sharon Stone received an Oscar nomination as well.
There you go. I mean,
We all
come
want-
on. I mean, it was,
We all want a
it was the
hooker
year.
with
It
heart
was,
of gold, right?
yeah.
Uh,
And here was Elizabeth Berkley.
Hey,
Here was Elizabeth
Jane
Berkley
Fonda.
keeping her way to the
That's
beginning.
Jane
A
that's
Fonda.
heart
the
of
thing.
gold and gonorrhea.
Elizabeth Berkley's
Jane Fonda literally won her first Academy Award, for Clute playing a prostitute. So there you go.
Right.
but I will say that Elizabeth Berkley's character does not have a heart of gold. She has a heart of brass, and maybe that's why. Another reason gay people like it, because it's just so. I don't want to say that gay people are heartless, but she is kind of really mean and evil, and they can live vicariously.
And gay people are kind of mean and evil, so that's got to
No,
be
they
like-
are not. They are not. They are not.
She was
Some of them
always
are
like
really nice.
Some
No,
of
it's
them.
interesting.
Tips.
Now,
Some of them I'm sure are good people. Some of them I'm sure are good people.
But it's a narcissistic, self-driven, self-involved, egotistical individual who will stop at nothing to get what she wants. And there are a lot of people who see themselves as a star and as a diva in the gay community, and there's a
There you
weird
go.
connection to that. I don't get it, but it's there. Same thing with Barbara. Why do you love Barbara? Fucking
Okay,
Yeah.
it's sorry. It's actually
interesting.
starting to turn me.
I think it was Gene Siskel, who did not want to compliment this movie, but he ended up giving it a strange compliment. He said it's trying to be all about Eve in a G-string, and I think they used that somewhere in the tagline. And of course, he didn't mean it as a compliment.
yeah, I know.
But it kind of is, because the character is just so awful a lot of times. She's she can't
Imagine
I'm-
Jenny Davis being not only haughty, but like, giving it away. It's like, this doesn't work.
Wow.
Let's just go somewhere else, please.
and
I-
they
now
do
it's
have
starting to turn
shows.
me though. It's
You
starting
know-
to turn me though now. Like
No,
this is no, I'm serious. Like this is like I'm starting to see this movie Showgirls as like the Scarface of gay people. like it's such a cultural thing, and they absorb it so much, like how blacks did with Scarface.
No,
Like, it's
I don't
amazing.
know. I don't
Here's
know
the thing.
if Scarface is specifically for blacks, because I know
Blacks,
Hispanics love it.
Hispanics, the FBI,
Rick, are you
demographic.
Yeah, no,
familiar
like,
with how
like,
popular
that kind of-
Scarface is in hip hop, like with rappers and hip hop
Yes,
culture?
Yeah.
yes, I am aware, and I've
There
seen
you go.
it, and I don't understand. I thought it was too long, and I
I
prefer
hated
the
it.
original.
I absolutely hated the Brian De Palma Scarface movie. I love the
prefer
original from
yeah, I prefer the
1932,
original.
but
I don't understand, but it has a cult. You don't know why some films become cult films. Showgirls is a cult film. Mommy Dearest is also. Grease 2 is also a cult film. People just embrace certain things, and if for whatever reason Showgirls is embraced by the gay audience, well, yeah, let them have their gay, let them have their gay cult film. I don't see.
I am
anything
not
like-
proud of it, but I still absolutely love Freddy Got Fingered, and it still fucking makes me laugh to this day. So you know what? That is always where it's like, if you can make me laugh, I will literally sit through anything. Now, it's not often, but like if you can make me laugh, I'm in. And it could be a shitty, like Nothing But Trouble.
I laugh.
That
I
Ian Aykroyd movie. I love it because it makes me laugh, even though it's objectively it is a terrible movie.
It is a terrible movie. It's the only movie that I could not finish the first time. The movie that I laughed at a lot was Final Destination: Bloodlines. So I don't know what that says about me. I found it hilarious. My cousin and I were laughing, and my other cousin and sister thought we were potential serial killers. I don't know. It's just some films are just embraced by certain groups. We can't explain it. This is one of them. It's a cult classic because yes, this community has embraced it for some weird reason. Let them embrace it. It's fabulous Scarface.
It's literally the only thing that Elizabeth Berkley can hold her career on to outside of Saved by the Bell. So just let her have her moment, because there's no more after that. It's over. Well, let's move over here to our
come outsider.
Wow, that was really weird. Wow, just.
Oh yeah, Cider. I forgot to ask you what you thought about this film.
Wow, there's an oven timer. I'll be back in a few minutes, fella.
Oh, crap.
Cider,
I
stop
wanted to
being
point out-
absurd.
We all know the greatest cult movie of all time is still The Passion of the Christ, and we're going to make sure to watch the sequel that's coming up soon.
I've never seen Showgirls.
Or who knows? Maybe Milne might not even finish the film in time. It could
I
just be the
think
world.
I watched a Nostalgia Critic review of Showgirls. That was it. That's the closest I've ever gotten to it because A, I just have no need to see that movie, and B, I literally have no access to a pathway for somebody to recommend that to me. So
I'm recommending
hey,
it
you know,
to you.
Cider, you got.
I think it's pretty hilarious.
You know?
I think it's pretty hilarious that the draw for most people to watch that film is to see Elizabeth Berkley naked, and now somehow 30 years later, the number one demographic are people who don't like women. So there you go. Oh, let's
Bring
go
a
over
copy
here.
when I swing up to Maine.
Yeah, don't.
Darn.
Don't. That sounds like a terroristic threat. I'm gonna take one as that. Let's go back in time here to 2002 because the reason why I'm showing you guys this, and by the way, I'm gonna go ahead and post our Rumble link in the chat because I'm not stopping the show if YouTube decides to be a dick. So just in case they decide to be a dick, there's the Rumble link. Go over there, watch it over there. We're gonna watch a little bit of the 2002 Video Music Awards, and the reason why we're doing this is because I started getting into this show not too long ago, and I just thought to myself, this is a microcosm to an America that no longer exists because basically everyone who's involved in this show, we have a much different view of them in 2025 than we did in 2002. So I think it's kind of hilarious for us to go back to a world where there was a lot of names associated with this show who they haven't aged particularly well. You can go back and kind of see where the cracks were. So I say we all just, cut back, have a couple of drinks, put away your copy of Showgirls, and go back to a time period post 9/11 where we hadn't really figured out that the end had occurred, that it was over, but we were still kind of living in denial. Let's go back to 2002 here, the MTV Video Music Awards.
Back when there were bombs in Iraq, and we were completely going for it.
Yeah, this was the first VMA after 9/11. If you guys recall, in 2001, they did a VMA 5 days before 9/11 in New York. So that was the last one where the towers actually existed. Speak your own conclusions there. So here you go.
I love Eddie WK.
2002 MTV Video Music Awards with Ashanti, Avril Lavigne, Anthony Kiedis, B2K, Brandy, Britney Spears, Brittany Murphy, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, Busta Rhymes, Carson
Some of these
Daly,
people are dead, right?
Christina Aguilera,
There's a couple of them that are no longer with us.
Everybody, they're all.
Lips,
all-
David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar.
Oh my God, they're both
Eminem,
still alive.
Enrique Iglesias, Guns N' Roses, Heath Ledger, Horatio Sands, Ja Rule, James Brown, James Gandolfini, Jennifer Lopez, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Johnny Knoxville Bam and Steve-O
We
from
sure we're not
Jackass,
watching the memoriam
Justin
in the
Timberlake,
of the
Kate
office?
Hudson,
Steve-O
Kirsten
wishes he
Dunst,
was
Kylie
dead.
Minogue, Lindsay Vonn, Lisa Marie Presley.
No, Bam wishes he was dead.
True, you got me. Bam wishes he was dead. That's true. You got me.
Yeah, there's a lot of dead people in this, by the way. It gets worse.
Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. Michael Jackson, Mike Myers, Bowie, Nas, Nelly, NSYNC, P. Diddy, P.O.D.,
There's somebody.
Pharrell,
That dude's sponsoring
former
the
New
event.
York Mayor Rudy
What?
Giuliani, Shakira, Sheryl Crow, The Hive,
It was
the judges
2002,
and
9/11
finalists
just
of
happened.
American Idol,
Ah, yeah.
Kelly Osbourne, The Vines, TLC, Triumph the Insult Comic Dog,
Oh, me
Usher,
too,
and
Bloods.
more. Live from Radio
Definitely
City
dead.
Music Hall at Rockefeller Center in New York City. Here's your host, Jimmy Fallon.
Okay, before we get into this, I do have to kind of gauge your guys on this one issue here. Now, I've said many, many times before that I have never found Jack Black to be funny, ever. Jimmy Fallon, it's someone who I used to like a little bit. He was more likable back then. That then I guess the dirty little secret got out that he's like a raging alcoholic. But that's besides the point. Have you guys ever found Jimmy Fallon funny at any point? Did you like him on Saturday Night Live at all, or do you like his late night show before he let all the women in charge of the writing room? Like, what's kind of your gauge on Jimmy Fallon?
What specific character can we think of that he did on Saturday Night Live when he was
Mickey Blue Eyes?
When he was that it? I mean, when he was just laughing. I mean, the whole shtick was him just laughing at his own.
Breaking. Yeah, and this is why I always hated Jimmy Fallon personally. Even though occasionally on SNL I would find him funny, though to be fair to Rick's point, I can't think of a specific character. It's more about just working well within the skit that they're doing. But I've never liked his late night show. He was okay in that movie Fever Pitch with Drew Barrymore, like about the Boston Red Sox. Like that was fine. Outside of that, I've never found the guy funny. And it's kind of what I've heard about him over the last decade is that, he kind of developed a pretty serious drinking problem, and it's had a series of falls, which just sounds like he owed people money. And that was the convenient story that he had. But I've never found him to be that entertaining, honestly.
Well, he was the host for 2002. So let's see if his bit holds up 23 years later.
I remember that video. Please don't pump the stage. Oh yeah, this is.
I think he was trying to be likable. That's always been the thing.
Call himself a what?
Why does he have an erection?
It's supposed to be funny, Cider.
You notice that.
It's because he has rigor.
There's a spotlight on it, Rick. There's a big blue light pointed right at it.
I was not
There's a giant.
that.
There's a JF throbbing in the background of it.
I was not noticing that at all, but no, you're the one noticing. He's sounding like he's out of breath.
Because he is out of breath.
I need a drink. Yep. Oh, yeah, the white stripe.
Get it, white stripe. Get it now.
Oh, look, they're taking his clothes off, Cider.
Oh, they're playing the video in the back. That's why.
Yeah. You guys get it? He's doing parodies of other people's songs.
Oh, wow.
Oh, snap, he's going to be Avril Lavigne. Oh, my God. It looks like Anthony Kiedis.
Did he get the Kids Pop people to participate in this?
They're playing in the back. They're playing his background.
You guys heard the conspiracy theory that Avril Lavigne was murdered years ago and replaced by a clone?
I've heard that, yeah.
No, I have not heard that.
We're seeing
I
it happen.
1000% believe that's true.
She's still married to the lead singer of Nickelback.
I don't know. With everything going on in the world today, it's like 50-50 whether that's actually true or not.
Right? It's like if Danzig and Hanson got together. Oh, it's Dave Matthews.
Oh my gosh, it is.
I feel like there's multiple white people references I don't get right now.
Yeah,
No,
totally.
it's okay. I don't get him either.
Okay, just
If
for
you
the
go to
record,
one-
I love Dave Matthews. I'm not gonna lie. I went to see.
Yeah, you're a white guy, Rick. You know.
If he goes into an Indigo Girls spot, we're gonna have a Lilith Fair concert.
No.
It's okay, Jacob. I don't get it either. I don't know any.
No,
Oh, look, it's
I'm
what's
the whitest
his
person here.
It's
Hey, Kevin
Judith
Smith?
Heartlander.
I listen to the Dave Matthews Bad Station on Sirius XM like a lot.
Oh, it's Vito.
You that would not happen to Dave Matthews. That would happen more at Morrissey.
Trying to host
Morrissey's
not
the
Vito,
one
he's not
that's
naked.
running up to him.
a hugging guy of all people.
Pretty sure it's Horatio Sands who has had that really weird
I think
sexual
I need a
assault
Band-Aid.
violation
Right?
thrown against him a couple years ago that
Yeah, we just saw it
oddly
happen.
never gets brought up anymore.
Well, it did torpedo his career, so.
True, that's true.
Oh, he's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah.
Usher now.
The guy at the high school dance at the YMCA played this, and he never was allowed to be the DJ again. I've heard this
Why?
once before, I think.
Wait, hold on a second. Am I saying that right? I'm sorry. Time out.
Yeah, you're saying it right. I took a Mormon girl to this guy's
Wait,
concert
I'm
once.
sorry. Am I saying that right, Beth? Can we look at the monitor? Can we look at the monitor? It's hot in here.
Here.
Hot in here. Where's
Yeah, a bunch
Nelly?
of Elizabeth Berkley's behind him.
Where's Nelly at? Hey, Nelly, is it cold over there? It's hot over there? Do you need a sweater? Whatever, hit it.
How much do they get paid to pretend to laugh?
Not enough.
It's in their contract.
They're all waiting for the Diddy party after the show's over.
Yeah,
Diddy party's already happening.
they're all degenerate.
This is part of the Diddy party.
Yep. The Coke
Look at
Bowl.
the flames. Come on, man.
Let me take it down for 1 second.
Oh, he's gonna bring it down.
He's gonna get naked again. Look out.
You gonna do James Brown?
You seem obsessed with seeing him naked, Cider.
Yeah, you seem obsessed.
Yes, I'm not the one bringing it up.
This is what they played at the end of every high school, middle school dance. Every time. Every time.
I got
It was
to
like, guys,
Okay.
what are you trying to do here?
Because we're trying to because they got you laid and they wanted you to get laid.
Right? I was like, even my little kid brain was like, I don't know if this is what you want to put in the minds of teenagers.
I'm so glad Enrique Iglesias is dead.
Yeah, he became Jewel, right?
Yeah.
What? They're not dead.
Yeah, he's still alive.
So is his father.
Him and Anna Kournikova are literally together, by the way.
Okay, I'm not old enough to remember Anna Kournikova's tennis playing career. She was always trash, right? Like, did she ever win anything?
I think she was
I heard
good.
she's actually okay.
But I honestly don't remember her tennis playing. So.
That was not her forte.
They'll show it again and again and again. There's no need to set your people up. Your breath away.
Okay, apparently she did win the Australian Open a couple times, so she wasn't completely trash.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend is now pregnant after hearing that song. Oh, it's a spiritual.
He's taking him to black church.
Can I get a witness out there?
I see Eddie Murphy would have done the whole thing.
Is this cultural appropriation?
Get up!
Are we trying to do a James Brown type deal?
Get up! Who's saying that? Get up!
You remember when this guy could still walk around and do things?
Oh my God! He's gonna be the best.
Yeah, Cider. He hasn't been able to walk around in a while.
I know. Him and Ray Charles really slacking these days. You gotta get on up. It's gonna set in soon.
Get on up! Got a cramp in my leg.
Ladies and gentlemen, the hardest working man in show.
I think he has more than a cramp at this point.
Okay, so you have Jimmy Fallon, who's arguably whiter than I am. doing a black exploitation impersonation, introducing arguably one of the most well-known black icons of the time.
Yeah.
It is a moment in American history.
A dynamic entertainer and channelizer. Britney Spears.
You know, there's a black man who's a barber who bicycles around my town that has James Brown afro.
So here's Britney Spears before she was a meme.
Yeah. No knives.
Wow.
In a Nazi uniform, by the way.
Such a special night, and it's even more special
springtime for Hitler, everybody.
Nazi dominatrix Britney Spears.
Didn't she have a red star in her hat?
Like, sir, that is a very specific fetish that you have.
The event organizer's thinly disguised sexual fetish.
Especially with the pearls.
Okay, so this is a very famous, infamous moment here.
He was dead 5 years later.
Yeah, so basically what happened there is that they were supposed to celebrate Michael Jackson's birthday, and for whatever reason, he thought he was getting a Lifetime Achievement Award at the VMA, so he started giving this acceptance speech for an award that didn't exist.
That's right.
Jacob,
Artist of the Millennium.
why are they playing the Legend of the Hidden Temple theme?
I love that show.
By the way, that award was literally like something they bought at Walmart for $5 before the show started.
I love you too.
I'm so out of it.
Thank you very much, Britney Spears. You look wonderful.
He's a Nazi.
You look
stuff, so
wonderful.
Michael
Not at
actually
all like
had
you
to-
just walked off the street.
If someone had told me,
Not at all like Elizabeth
told me
Berkley.
that one day I would be getting, as a musician, the Artist of the Millennium Award, I wouldn't have believed it.
He just made that up.
No, he literally just made that up.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, he just.
No, he didn't. No, what happened was Britney Spears said that I consider him to be the artist of the millennium.
Oh, it's just a misunderstanding.
Yes,
in
in his
So the producers were watching this going, what did he just say?
Wait a minute. We have a producer, we have Artist of the Millennium Award.
Quincy Jones, I love you.
It's like, why does he have a list of names?
Let him go. He just made up his own award. It's Michael Jackson. Just let him go.
Here's the thing. Unironically, after Michael Jackson died, they did in fact turn this into a real award years later.
Well, you know.
And all the fans around the world, I love you. God bless you. Thank you.
And he probably like put this in a glass case.
Let's take a look at this year's.
She's like, what the fuck was that?
Let's go look at the Millennium Award.
So these are the nominees for Best Pop Artist in the year 2002. Let's see if you guys remember any of these songs.
Fresh
I won't.
cheese. Who doesn't love this guilty pleasure?
I love
Great for
cheese.
making pizza and
You don't
more.
like the
That's
color.
right. This Moon Man is a pizza cutter and grater. It's true.
This Moon Man's a
Cheese
racist.
lovers, meet your new best friend.
Somebody thought that was hilarious. Somebody got paid to do
MTV.
that.
They're trying.
Jimmy Fallon probably thought that was hilarious.
In Sync featuring Nelly, Girlfriend remix.
They collaborated?
I don't remember this song.
Shakira, Whenever.
This is my favorite
Wherever.
song.
I remember that one.
Michelle Branch, All You Want.
Oh, this is me and my ex.
Oh, God. Does anyone remember Michelle Branch? Remember when she was
I
a thing?
I told her
Name's
about Michelle
familiar.
Branch.
No
I had a
Doubt
crush on her
featuring
when I
Valley
Less popular
Girl,
than this
Hey
girl.
Baby.
Look, I objectively love No Doubt being from Southern California, but it's like, let's be honest, like, this was the last time they were actually relevant.
Pink, Get the Party Started.
What's Barbie font? Okay.
I actually
40
prefer the
40 years from now, she'll be a
Cassie
good
cover.
icon.
Does anyone remember when Pink came out and was doing like R&B songs and everyone thought she was black for like 5 minutes? Remember that
No.
whole thing?
No,
I try to forget, you know.
no.
remember-
All I
I
know
think I
is
heard
that
Poker
get
Face.
Get This Party Started. It's a
Lady
better
Gaga.
cover by Shirley Bassey.
A Poker Face? What was the one that she was in?
You see, Rick, when you make comments like that, I mean, we really try not to, like, you know, I'm just saying, you're not making it easy on yourself.
A legend. How dare
And the
you?
award for Best Pop Video goes to. No Doubt, Hey Baby!
Ah, there you go. Suck it. Pink.
Yeah, Pink. Pink, fucking
Oh,
suck it.
let's get the party started. I heard that in a Naruto music video once.
I do remember that. I saw it not too long ago.
See, back then, Shakira was not hiding in fear of ice.
I don't know why Gwen Stefani is dressed like a homeless person in this award show, but
Because Britney Spears is a Nazi dominatrix.
And everyone who worked on the video.
And Michael did actually
Nazi for doing the song
Yeah.
down in Jamaica.
Michael Jackson
okay,
just made up his own
no
award.
one cares, guy. No one cares. What else do we have going here?
Like, let's just take a minute though. We missed this one. Like, Michael Jackson is such a badass. He made up his own award on the spot, and nobody fucking questioned him.
Yeah.
Nobody questioned that. Not a soul in the room was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Michael being the address of the millennium, like, oh no, like, if we're gonna close up the millennium, that's the guy.
Like, there was no one who was like gonna run on stage, but like, no, it's
I'm
not
gonna let
real.
you
It's not real.
finish. But Vanilla Ice had the best music video of the millennium.
Accept the Artist of the Millennium Award myself. I guess they're giving them backstage. Everyone's getting them.
Okay, you see.
Oh, see, that's why Jimmy Fallon fucking
Michael
failed.
Jackson was great
He went after
before the
Michael.
court, wasn't
That's why his career got buried.
Between you and me, I think he's had some work done. We'll be right back. Go pee.
Oh my god, dude.
Well, that was his way of saying that wasn't a real award.
2002 MTV
Yeah.
Video Music Awards continue.
That was his way of nicely saying that wasn't a real award, but we don't know what Michael was saying there.
And right after the break,
But that's how much of a badass he is. They were just gonna let that slide. You know, nobody questioned it.
Michael had left by then.
You remember Side Boob? Remember that?
Man.
Well, you
It was a
shouldn't.
long time ago.
Good night, everybody.
please welcome singer and songwriter Jennifer Love Hewitt.
What?
Remember when she was still hot?
The singer and the
Yes.
songwriter? When did this happen?
Remember when
Before
she
Ghost
wasn't
Whisperer
complaining
dies,
about
okay?
being
Black
objectified?
Sabbath to Green Day.
Hold on a second, Rick. You don't remember her hit single, "Bare Naked"? You remember that song?
You don't remember her hit single?
From Red Hot Chili
What?
Peppers to Macy Gray. From the White Album to the White Stripes. But only one color can get
Phil
the party
Spector.
started on a Saturday night. Ladies and gentlemen, pink.
She went from this to Ghost Whisperer. Okay?
Yes. Didn't she play a prostitute in one show? Wasn't that a thing?
I don't know.
City?
But like, that was the Hallmark Hindenburg before the Hallmark Hindenburg existed, you know?
Yeah.
Is Pink going goth?
Yeah, she was goth during this video specifically.
Okay, so she got all these other people to perform with her?
Yeah.
I think
They
she has a
all showed up.
band, but I don't know. I have no idea.
They just showed up.
Other homeless people.
Oh, I remember this song.
There you go.
You know, I've always had the question, like, is the drummer on the Epstein list or like just Pink? Like, was everyone else implicated as well, or just?
No, he's having too much fun. He didn't bother with fucking Diddy. I remember this song, yeah.
Like I said, with Pink, it was like she started off doing R&B music, then she kind of slowly drifted away to like emo type music.
Yep.
Then the next thing you know, she was doing like girl power anthems, and it was just like no one can. And then at some point, in like the 2010s, she was all like, "Well, if you support Trump, then don't listen to my music." And then literally no one ever heard from her again. Like,
I'm a pill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if only Amy Winehouse had listened to that advice.
Yeah.
It literally is. Damn, I wish I was. Now that now that it's like really low and everything, it really is. Damn, I wish I was your lover, by Sophie Hawkins.
Is this the Victoria's Secret I'm Easy collection showcase? What is going on tonight?
It was 2002, Cider. It was a simpler time.
Apparently, we weren't endorsing the idea of pants. It was so simple.
All of these women are dressed like literally all of them, like Britney, Christina, Pink. They all dress like they should be like hookers somewhere in Queens.
Criminy.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out, like, it's so uniform. Like there was a memo. Nobody wear any pants.
Mhm.
Well, we've seen that like in the last couple of years at like the Oscars and stuff, where it's like, oh, okay, so we're just not wearing clothes anymore.
That's true. That like full chainmail dress thing was crazy.
I mean, there was this show where Jennifer Lopez, I think it was like the 2001 VMAs. She had this like green turquoise dress that was like barely held together by her like
the Grammys.
tits. And
Yeah,
I don't remember what it was. I just remember that dress because it was just like
with the Grammys.
Okay, like I get it. Hey, good for you.
There was another time.
And then Trey and then
Was it Trey Parker came out in the same dress?
The South Park guys came out in the same dress.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's
Him in the
exactly it.
beginning,
Yep.
And I'd like to press against her ending. Please welcome Enrique Iglesias and Kylie Minogue.
What the hell does that mean?
What's a Kylie Minogue?
I think it was
Kylie
an anal
Minogue
sex joke.
Kylie Minogue was like the Elizabeth Berkley of pop music.
These are all names. You might as well be giving me hockey player names.
Kylie Minogue has been around literally since like the 1980s.
Yep. Dawn of time.
Yeah, she did a cover of Locomotion.
I feel like she's always been around, but she's never been like a huge name.
Right.
Well, in Australia.
Yeah, that's exactly. Can't Get You Out of My Head is probably her best known song.
Yeah.
Can't get you out of my head.
Catchy.
That's R&B.
Alicia Keys, A Woman's World.
Wow, Alicia Keys was actually being brought up.
Mm-hmm.
Unironically.
This really is 2002.
Criminy.
Yeah.
Is Macy Gray going to be in this?
Ashanti, Foolish.
And she might be.
Still alive.
Probably.
That's the best thing you can say about Ashanti. She's still alive.
Right? Ashanti's still alive, right?
Usher, You Got It Bad.
You think Usher had herpes by then?
Yes.
I used to use Usher as like chick material.
Oh, rest in peace.
my
Aaliyah.
God.
He probably died
Yeah.
like right after this.
No, she died like literally a year before this.
Oh, before. Okay.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, No More Drama.
Wow, there's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Now, we wouldn't have imagined that she would be a two-time Oscar nominee. Right?
Did people scream at television store displays a lot?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we do it now, right?
No.
Mary J. Blige.
No.
That's all her life. Her life is nothing but drama.
That was Jack White in the back.
Right.
I like how she's crying like this is a legitimate award.
It's not like she's not artist of the millennium.
It's the early 2000s. Every woman out there is wearing a fedora. I was like, oh, right, it's the early 2000s. They all wear fedoras.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Lord, because
MTV
we are
got me
alive
over.
right now.
Mhm.
Thank you for this right here.
Wanda Sykes sounds different.
Somewhere in the Matrix, because I was sitting there expecting.
Mary J. Blige is probably unironically funnier at this point than
It's
not that hard.
After September 11th.
Well, that's
And
gonna have to
I didn't
do
get a
because,
chance to tell
she
people
didn't,
how I felt because so many
she's
doors
not
are
gonna
being
win the
closed in
Oscar.
my face.
Though she came
But
close.
Thanks to Sanji and MCA, I got a chance to vent for people all around the world how they felt on the
Free
inside.
Palestine.
To all the people around the world yelling at the TV screens.
Thank you, MCA.
Honestly, who
to
knows?
do this. Thank you, MTV, and thank you to my fans, and thank you, Mary Loves. Mary Loves, I cannot do without you. Thank you, Ma. Thank you, my honey over there. Thank you, everybody. I love you.
I was just about to say, no one except the speech at the VMA should be longer than like 30 seconds.
Berkley, Mike Myers, Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Oh,
Ja
drug
Rule,
team.
Ashanti
That's
and Nas
CIA
in a performance
employee
you
Mike
don't
Myers.
wanna miss.
That's right.
All when the
I think the
2000
CIA
Proven.
told him to act like an idiot.
Awards return.
Proven CIA employee.
Your instructions for tonight,
Now,
Agent Myers, is to go
I
in
have
there
yet
and
to
act like an
see-
idiot.
I have yet to see the Love Guru, so.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
I
So
don't like to play favorites.
But that pretty much killed his career.
Here's Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Two other
Remember when these two were a thing?
No.
Yes. Stop
Yeah, I
it,
did.
Cider.
I remember Mary Kate and Ashley.
And now only one ever talks about their younger sister.
Yeah.
To hand out the grapefruit
She is the best Olsen. Elizabeth
She was
Olsen.
great in
Yeah.
Marcy May Marlene. That was great.
Mary Kate and Olsen are in the not dead but might as well be dead category.
Really just all about living on the edge. I mean, for example, last weekend we rented a whole bunch
We went to a
of
Diddy
movies,
party.
bought
Can you
them
believe it?
and we didn't
David
want
Spade was
to
there.
them. Not only that, but both of us have both of our ears pierced. Deal with that, America.
Oh,
Remember when that was a thing?
Think about the holes that we have.
Remember when the biggest side on whoredom was getting your ears pierced? Things have sure changed in the last 23 years.
I don't know. I thought it was the tongue, but okay.
Either, well, I mean, the tongue is still dirty to this day. I mean,
yeah.
The tongue is a dirty little hole.
That's the one part of Final Destinations that I couldn't watch. The tongue piercing.
The tongue piercing is just child support and alimony waiting to happen. I mean, you're just kidding yourself if you don't think that's where it's going.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
DMX,
That's my favorite DMX song.
He's dead, right?
Yes, DMX died a couple years ago.
DMX tried to warn us against homo thugs. Don't forget that.
Yep.
The Crystal Method.
Oh, this is a great song too.
Oh shit! I had no idea that's what the. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Name of the game.
Coldplay. Trouble.
It's okay song.
They just came to El Paso for 2 nights.
This is their first single.
One of my ex-girlfriends like to play this all the time.
Maxwell.
Yeah.
This woman's work. Director Sanji.
Is that the guy from The Weeknd?
Cake.
I don't
Short skirt.
Oh, hell yeah.
Director John McCrae.
Hometown Heroes.
This was the theme to Chuck, right?
Yeah, that it? Well, you guys, oh, there you go.
Yeah, that was the theme to Chuck.
Fell in love with
Wow.
a girl.
Yeah.
Michelle
Cake
Gondry.
got nominated for a VMA award.
Yep.
Fuck
And
me,
the
White
award
Stripes.
breakthrough video goes to.
You know, Cake never
The White
sings. They just
Stripes.
talk.
Yeah, you knew that.
I mean, they made an entire video made of Legos. Of course, they're gonna win.
Right.
YouTube, that is a DMX lyric. Go Google it yourself. It really exists.
This guy, he's like, I have a brand and I'm never giving it up.
The White Stripes, they were shortlisted for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction this year. Were they
The
not?
director, Michelle Gondry, is a.
So are they brother and sister? I never got their whole
Yes.
relationship.
He couldn't be.
Okay.
His
Meg and
father
Jack White.
just passed away a few days
Yeah,
ago.
they're brother and girlfriend.
He couldn't make it here, so.
He and
Seriously.
Alicia Keys wrote the worst Bond song
Ladies
ever.
and gentlemen, can
Yeah.
you handle
That's-
it?
that takes-
B2K.
That's quite the accomplishment.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. It's
Oh, I forgot
DMX.
about PTK.
Another way to die from
Omarion.
Juan Gonzalez.
Are these the Harlem Globetrotters?
No, it's a boy band. It's black.
Get ready to get this party started, man. Oh yeah.
No, it's the Kings.
Didn't one of them get molested?
I don't know.
You're not helping this. I still can't tell the difference between this and the Harlem Globetrotters. Was that not a boy band?
That's right.
That was a boy band too. Yeah.
Okay. I saw him in the Scooby-Doo episode once, so.
This Sinners.
They were on
Fuck.
Gilligan's Island.
This is where they got the idea for the movie from.
Now you're getting it, Rob.
It's all coming back.
This is where they got La La Land from?
Oh, it's Ja
Kugler
Rule.
was like,
Sound
I
like
gotta
Ja
do
Rule
something with
voice.
vampires in this.
I do love the fact that they're both wearing mics, but they're clearly not singing.
Correct.
Ja Rule singing is like just growling into the microphone.
Right. I love the fact that there was a time where Ja Rule was trying to be like a sexy, like, you know, a crooner. Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine you getting turned on as a woman going, I want to be without you.
I'm so glad 50 Cent ruined Ja Rule's career. Like, really,
I don't even know what a Ja Rule is.
He's right there.
yeah.
He's a magician?
Ja Rule tried to go after like the Tupac demographic after Tupac died, and he was somewhat successful. Like 99 to 2002, he was pretty big. Then, like I said, 50 Cent came on the scene and absolutely ruined that guy's career.
Is that the homo thug demographic?
Yeah, the homo thug.
Yeah. You know, the Diddy demographic, because he's on the show here too.
Right, that's what the Diddy graphic is what they like to call it.
That should be the title of Diddy's like the court documentary.
The Diddy graphic?
No,
The
no.
Diddy graphic?
No.
Uh-oh. There's a gunshot. This is gonna be bad for Ja
It's
Rule.
John
I thought he was
Cena.
hanging. I thought he was like. Right here.
Oh, that's Nas.
R. Kelly? Oh,
Yeah.
Nas. I wanna be without you.
Oh, it's that "Hey little mama, I got something to whisper in your ear" guy, right?
Yeah, yeah. Whisper, whisper, whisper.
I know that because of a meme.
Yeah, I don't know why he's whispering in this song because it's not necessary at all.
Same music that Cider listens to memes I used to get laid to. It's amazing.
Well, see, Diddy had him yelling last night, so his voice is all blown out tonight.
Right.
He's doing his best.
Oh, he's ricocheting between the sheep.
Now he's screaming.
I wanna be without you, baby.
Remember when, like, you could use the... Remember when you could just use a siren as a backing track? Nobody hated that. Remember that? Just play the siren for 3 minutes.
Well, I mean, this was back in the day when you could pull that off. In the mid-'90s, if you did that, the whole crowd would disperse.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Cider, you know what he's saying?
He says he only needs one microphone and he needs to be left to his talent, as he is the only one that can execute the manner of rhyme in which he has mastered.
Mom's spaghetti.
Oh. He's talking about spaghetti?
Yeah.
Why is she back? She was in the other guy's song.
Well, that's where the gang battle's gonna happen now.
Oh, he took off the suit.
There he is.
That's the same guy.
I wanna be without you. I wanna be with you, baby, baby.
Still to come from Jackass, Johnny Knoxville, Bam, and Steve-O. Brittany Murphy, D.O.D. and
For AARP.
win the 2002 MTV
Hey, there's
Video
Michelle
Music
Branch.
Awards.
I'm Johnny Knoxville, here to talk to you about AARP.
You go.
We only got like one more segment and then we'll wrap this one up here.
Aw.
I mean, unless you guys want to stay, which I'm pretty sure you don't.
Mental patients.
We should do like some mystery science theater thing where we just make fun of this shit. You know? That's the whole show.
Oh, there's Brittany Murphy, who may or may not have been murdered.
Right. Another King of the Hill reference, Jeff. This is great.
So, when are we seeing Miley Cyrus grind up against Robin Thicke? Or is that another show?
That's a different show. That's 20 years later.
And Anthony Kiedis, who is older here than his current girlfriend is now.
Yeah.
Just last eve, an uneasy sleep fell upon me, wherein I imagined a strange and wondrous world.
This guy just sounds like a douche.
She is gone on something.
Is he a magician?
Rock, soul, and more.
He sounds like a magician.
You guys can't wait to do coke like after the party, like you guys like to wait. Like,
Was an otherworldly plane where one could indulge in the lusty pleasures
Just present the Artist of the Millennium Award, okay? Just get this over
of music videos.
We're high.
What the fuck? A day, 7 days.
What the fuck? What the fuck is this world? What have they done to us? What did they do to?
yeah, exactly. Like, no one knows what he's saying.
You should have kept it playing.
Nappy Roots.
Nappy Roots. Nappy Roots.
Isn't that what got Imus canceled?
Yeah.
Those nappy-headed hoes.
Right?
Music, half crazy.
Oh, I remember music.
I don't know any of them.
Oh yeah, I'm sitting in the bathroom holding myself.
Nora Jones. Don't
Oh,
know
Nora
why.
Jones.
She did.
Oh,
She's the most successful out of anyone so far.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
my friend said that any Nora Jones album should come with advisory: do not operate heavy machinery while listening.
Real quick, Rob, do you have any? Do you have any experiences with Dashboard Confessions you would like to talk about?
I have a few.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. I'm gonna just really embarrass myself here, but here we go. I used to exclusively listen to shit like Dashboard Confessional when I was like 13, to the point where they were featured in the Spider-Man 2 soundtrack, a song called "Vindicated" that played at the end. Yeah, It's so embarrassing. I can't even. But to give you the idea of the person I am today, I had to go through a lot of painful life lessons where it was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop being an idiot. So yeah, it's a reminder. It's a good reminder of like not to be a moron. That's all. Don't like the things you liked when you were a teenager. Don't be an idiot.
You were emo.
At some point, you have to grow up from Linkin Park.
Yeah.
If you're going to remember those things
prior to the Dashboard, but yeah, that's fine.
What do you mean grow up from Linkin Park? What does that? No, you don't.
If you're going to remember those times, at least listen to good stuff like this.
I feel like the Strokes were like a band now were around for like a year and then just disappeared.
Yeah. They were awesome for one good song. That's all you got to be.
And the MTV2 award goes to...
What, MTV2? There's like a category for the channel?
Yeah, like alternative, whatever.
Dashboard Confession.
Yeah, of course.
There you go.
Yeah.
Shooting infidelities. If it's 2025, it'd be shooting infidels.
Yeah, never mind. I'm just gonna shut the fuck up.
Take me in.
So this is what young Robert Motto would be listening to.
I mean, like, you had Taking Back Sunday. You had a bunch of bands in there, but yeah, this.
Okay, we got a short list.
We got to thank the Buena Vista Social Club.
The lead singer's like 5'4".
Rich and John, everybody at Vagrant, Andrew Ellis, Jimmy.
You make that sound like a bad thing.
All the people that have supported us at MTV, James Wisner, Brian Bumbry, Matt Marine, everybody that worked on the.
I like how the tall one looks like he should be tall.
All our fans, I don't think we'd be.
Oh yeah, he's got tall guy face. Yeah.
The one thing I like about award shows is the concept of thanking a bunch of people that no one watching at home even knows who they are.
Yeah.
The stars of Jackass the movie.
Andre the Giant from Princess and the Bride.
Yeah. He looks like Andre after like a diet.
Hey guys.
Would you like a peanut?
Just to be sure, these people are alive.
Unfortunately, they are all still alive.
I was going to be presenting tonight. I came up with the most amazing stunt ever. And
I'm going to blow myself.
I was going to have an Indian man shit down my throat live on camera.
Don't worry.
I think I've seen only one.
Did you learn
that? Oh my God, he's going to blow. Oh my God. It was a combination of both of our sides.
Presenting anyway.
I think I've seen one of their movies, and I have to admit, I did laugh when, was it Wee Man almost bungee jumped off the Fat Man? And he came close to it, so...
Oh, it's a steering wheel lock.
Get it? Because we're doing best rap video, so it's best...
Oh my gosh!
That's what they knew back then. Like, oh yeah, there's criminals that...
Because we know the type of people who like rap music.
Rich criminals.
2002, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back.
To your mom.
Oh, there's Ludacris.
It's Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
DMX, who we be?
Damn.
You're angry.
Look at the testimonial.
Yeah.
Nas, one mic.
Wait a minute.
This is the guy we just saw.
Yep.
He's not whispering.
Eminem, without me.
Of course it's gonna win.
Yeah, there's no way Eminem's not winning this. I mean, it's MTV. This is specific for white people.
Well,
oh, wait a minute.
Became iconic.
Literally, Diddy. Hold on. Diddy made a music video about his parties back in 2001, and no one pretended like they noticed what was going on in those parties. I'm throwing that out there.
Also, go back to it. Pharrell apparently is the ball boy.
Was that what's the
I
name?
think it's someone else, but yeah.
That was his assistant, quote unquote. I wonder what was going on behind closed doors there. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I don't know his name. He's always wearing a bow tie. He's fucking weird.
Black Rob.
No, that's not Black Rob.
Bad boy for life.
By the way, Black Rob is in fact dead. That's not even a joke. He's dead.
You're kidding me? What?
No, Black Rob died like a couple of years ago, and Craig Mack also dead too. So those are two guys.
Crack Mack.
Craig Mack.
They used.
Really?
Staple, no. You know, there's a trick to that. You know,
I never understood why people thought this was funny. Oh, how did you know?
I really don't want to be here.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of homo thugs,
That's Rock and Roll Hall of Famer.
Of course, and Big Pun, of course, is happy about the whole situation.
They should have got that guy to play back.
Big Pun didn't die. He just got eaten by Fat Joe.
What's up, man?
All right, I'm white. Yeah, you can applaud me, sure.
All right, first off, I want to start off by saying that I'm taking this home for rap, period. And
Taking this
second of all,
home, I'm gonna put it in
taking
my
this home
butt.
For my whole Shady Records family. D12, Obi Trice.
I only remember
Real name, no
Hey, we
gimmicks.
got another trophy to put in the case, baby.
I only
love you.
remember when Billie Eilish just looked thoroughly confused when he performed at the Oscars. Like she had no
Right,
idea
remember
what
that.
people meant was.
Up
Yeah.
next on the 2002
I like how he gives the
Video
MTV
Music
awards to his
Awards.
8-year-old daughter
Shakira,
just so she can
Linkin
burn them
Park,
later.
Kate Hudson, the award
Isn't that how it
for
works?
Best Hip-Hop.
Yeah,
And
a while.
the 10
Park.
finalists from American Idol.
Kate Hudson. Kate Hudson.
I know this song, but I can't remember the band. Like I've heard this before, but I don't know what the band's name is.
Instant
Please welcome
replay
from
of
Linkin Park, Mike
masochism
Winchester and
live
POD,
on the
Singing
VMAs.
Well, I mean, you had what,
Oh, look.
Britney Spears in her
Korn?
as in him.
Oh, Linkin Park.
Linkin Park.
Oh, Linkin Park. Why are they
For a second, I was like, "Is that Moby?
Jessica?
Is that Moby?"
But why are they playing it?
No,
Why are they playing It Takes Two?
There's no John Podesta could not defeat a paternity test if he tried on Chester. There is no way. You look at the two of them together, he's just taller than John Podesta. That's all he is.
It's like Brock Lesnar and his daughter.
Exactly. But with CIA.
Now, when you talk about style, when you talk about flair, when you talk about unprecedented mixing and beating technique, you're talking about the Moon Man Mix-O-Matic. Am I right? Nothing comes close
Am
to
I
looking
right?
this good while whipping shit up.
Oh, whipping shit
They
up.
swore on TV, Mom.
Outcast featuring Killer Mike.
Whoa.
Hold on a second. It's just pause just here for a second. So we just did best rap video, and now we're doing best hip hop video.
They're
Is this-
different.
they're totally different. They're totally two different things, and you're a bigot if you think otherwise.
And when you talk about style, when you talk about flair, when you talk about
Who better to introduce hip hop
you're
fucking Linkin Park?
the Linkin Park and POD.
Right.
This good while whipping shit up.
Outcast featuring Killer Mike.
That's my favorite Outkast song. The only one that's actually worth a damn.
I prefer ghetto music, but I understand your point.
In the ghetto.
I'll do that later.
Jennifer Lopez featuring Ja Rule. I'm Real remix.
I got the whole lyrics written down and everything.
Speaking of someone who was definitely at those Diddy parties.
Uh-huh.
She didn't know.
Baby, oh baby.
Rhymes featuring P. Diddy and Pharrell.
There's Pharrell.
Oh, God.
I told you Pharrell showed up.
Pharrell was alive back then?
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought he was like 12.
Rule featuring Ashanti.
Oh yeah, you know the Diddy parties.
Okay.
Pharrell's like 50, so yeah.
He's like a little tiny guy. He's like smaller than Falcon Man.
There's Fatty.
Okay, Ashanti too.
Everywhere.
I'm a little.
I used to get chicks like that back that
Misdemeanor
day.
Elliot featuring Ludacris and Trina. 1 Minute Man.
Yeah, you guys remember Trina?
I barely remember Missy Elliott, and I think it's because of the crack joke.
I like how Rick is like so far away with that.
Jennifer
No.
Lopez featuring Ja Rule.
Jennifer Lopez, the CIA, what made her win a
J-Lo. You know she's going to win the Oscar for the Spider-Man.
Yep.
She better be lucky to not go to prison. Let's just put it that way. If you don't remember, back in like was it 99 or 2000, Diddy and J-Lo got into some legal trouble. Basically, long story short, Shine took the fall for about 10 years for both of them.
I wish you tell Britney she could take her hat off. She doesn't have to be a Nazi the whole night.
No.
I have a feeling that she did expect it.
I'm a girl from the Bronx and hip
I can't believe it. I'm just a girl from the Bronx who got lucky and ended up with D Diddy.
Brittany doesn't know where she is right now, Eddie. She can't take the hat off. She doesn't even know she's wearing it.
How many people at the show are completely loaded right now? That's the question.
J-Lo is. I'll tell you right now.
If she takes out that hat, those pretty little brains are gonna just fall right out.
the video, especially Dave Myers, who did the video for us. So great.
You'll see the
I
Frankenstein
imagine-
headset.
I imagine Mike, Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, that's right. I do know you.
Thank you very much. Some news, everybody.
Oh, you're
Just heard,
here.
pretty
I don't like
terrible,
his sweater
Fat Joe
changing.
just ate one of
That's
the
really
Olsen
annoying.
twins.
And this is when
Fat Joe's gonna kill him. Look at that. Look.
You know, I've worked with these both of these presenters here. I was in Almost Famous with Kate Hudson.
Nah,
And,
I think the
early-
next one is the Shakira song, which we actually did ironically later on. So I think we'll just put it as a good stopping point for this one, because I know we guys are having too much fun here. But
damn.
yeah, that was our first part of our look back to 2002. I guess quick little discussion point. Do you guys like 2001 better than current day?
2002.
Yeah,
The 2002, I should say.
I do.
Of course. I mean, there wasn't anybody up there openly saluting Satan. They were alluding to it, but there was nobody
Yeah.
openly saluting Satan.
Well,
up
we were
there.
just
The gay people like Diddy and Eminem were in the closet like they belong, and then everyone had their gender, so it was a
Brittany
simpler
wasn't
time.
dancing
Think
with
about it this way.
knives.
Two Towers came out in
Closest-
2002. The Wire came out in 2002. We
Yeah.
were just talking about that. I mean, the quality of the media that was being produced and made at the time was just a higher bar than what is being done now. And that even goes for TV, which was only getting good, from The Sopranos, from, things like 6 Feet Under, HBO, Curb Your Enthusiasm, what was kind of happening in the early 2000s. So, it was just a better time.
Not to mention, this was like right off the heels of like 9/11, like about the first year that it happened. So we also weren't wildly un-American in 2002, as we ended up being several years later too. So that was another plus we had going for us. So yeah, it looks like it all came crashing down after like the early 2000s when you look back at it. Like, we didn't know now that was it, but that turned out to be it. Any other thoughts here before we wrap things up and get out of here?
I miss 2002 because I used to get laid a lot more.
Yeah.
Are you like 50, Eddie? Like, how old are you?
Jesus Christ.
I was like 13, so I'm just like,
Exactly.
Like, I didn't get started.
I was in middle school.
Jeez.
You were
I come from
Dad-
a different school. I come from a different middle school than you all come from. Let's say it that way.
Yeah, very different. Uncle
I mean,
Eddie's middle
geez.
school.
Eddie's almost as old as Rick. I mean, jeez.
Damn. Cold.
In my heart.
And on that note, we will bid you adieu. I'll go ahead and give you guys some spotlight here before we get on out of here. Rob, what are you working on?
Nothing. No, I'm watching movies. Follow me on my Twitter. Gonna see 28 Years Later this week. And I'm gonna try to do a regular kind of mini review on both Twitter and my YouTube channel, which I barely utilize, but I'm gonna try to do that here over the next couple weeks. I'm gonna see F1 next week, and then I guess Superman. There's a Superman movie coming out, which I'm don't think is going to be very good, but I will watch it and I will review it. So, just follow me over my Twitter for that. And yeah, just working my way through more movies.
All right, Rick.
Well, I'm just working on more reviews and, of course, avoiding ice. Just hopping from one place to the other.
And avoiding Showgirls, apparently.
And avoiding Showgirls. So I am waiting for the criterion, though, for that one. Just more reviews and just try to catch up on things. I don't know what I'll be watching, if I'll be watching anything this weekend, but there's always baseball games. And happy Juneteenth, everyone.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that fake holiday's coming up. Eddie, what do you got going?
All right, here we go. Blazing bombs gonna light my way, gonna set my trip on fire. Lost a water cash from a wild vacay, cause the travel agent's a liar. There's 1,000 cranky locals dodging best in there, and they're all like tourists, ain't got no Airbnb and spare. And I'm just a thrill seeker with a death wish flare. So viva la Gaza! Viva la Gaza! Viva la Gaza!
I tell you, there is a very specific niche out there for like Fat Elvis doing Gaza-related Elvis covers.
I see the dance and everything to go with it too. It's going to be great. I want to work on. I got something to work on. I'm happy. I got a summer project.
We got some haters in the chat. We got a couple of haters, but no.
Boo.
We'll work it out there.
It wasn't terrible.
Cider, what do you got coming up?
Oh, my camera froze a long time ago. Okay.
Yeah, I thought you did that on purpose.
Yeah. Oh, no, this thing just shits the bed every now and then. Anyway, so I'm going to be at Heroes Con from the 19th to the 22th. So I'll see you guys down there at the Charlotte Civic Center in North Carolina. And I'll be streaming from there if you can't make it. So drop by, say hello, and enjoy the con with us.
Yeah. The 22th.
Going to North Carolina?
The 22th.
No.
So hey guys, I'm gonna be kind of honest with you. As you guys can see, I'm kind of in between apartments at the moment, so I don't know when the next stream is going to happen. So obviously, we have the Bible ends on Sunday. I'm trying to figure out where and when I'm gonna record that, if it's gonna be live. So there's a couple of things in limbo at the moment. So I'll just keep you guys in touch. Follow me over on Twitter. Also subscribe to the YouTube so that you guys can get updates on when the next show is gonna be. Basically, by next Friday, I'll have everything moved in and completed. So the next couple of shows are going to be a little bit interesting to film. But outside of that, we're working on some movie reviews coming up here. I got to get back into the swing of that. But like I said, there's a lot of going on right now. I'm trying to catch up on it. Once something settles down, or who knows, maybe, Iran will drop a bomb on somebody tonight, then things go completely out the window. Until then, I'll be sticking around here. So you'll find me and stuff. Just go check out all the stuff that I do on the YouTubes and the Rumbles and then the was it X? We're calling it X now?
Yeah, for now.
I guess we'll just call it X. But thank you very much for joining us here tonight. Thank you all for listening in to tonight's show. Hopefully we'll see you guys here next week. And then this is the point where I can go ahead and hit the outro. We can all get out of here. Adios, goodbye, and good night.
Okay. Oh.
Making your way through the daily grind takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to tune away? All those nights when you're feeling low, the rent is overdue, and your coffee maker's broken, your luck just seems to skew, and your boss is always on your case. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. Roll out of bed and you feel the dread. The morning's looking bleak. And your internet is down again. You haven't slept all week, and your car just broke down on the way. Be glad there's a place online where you can feel at ease. In the barroom, podcast friends, we share our thoughts and tease. Every story shared, every laugh so free. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. So here's to the moments we all hold dear, in this ballroom of the airwaves with friends so near. Every story shared, every heartfelt cheer. It's more than just a podcast, it's where we steer.
I still don't feel like I know how to shoot these things.